Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Happy Friday and happy game day. Bombers Argos tonight on the south side at Princess Auto Stadium. We are all over it today. Welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. Andrew Paterson, soon to be joined by the rest of the squad, Michael Remis and Connor Rabchak. And we got a banger. This is going to be a lot of Bomber talk today for OU Bomber fans. Didn't have a lot earlier in the week to talk about, as it was a very short week for the Bombers. That is changing today. And my tag team partner from the Lock Shop over on EST, Dustin Nielson, will be calling the game. He's going to join us in a few minutes to set this one up tonight and talk some CFL. My co-host from CFL 110, Jeff Hamilton, is also jumping on the program. And a little later on, we'll head down to Princess Auto Stadium and get the latest on the home side from the one and only Ed Tate. A little later on, before Marbles, we're also going to talk to Kyle Steeves, Winnipeg native, the lone Manitoban on Canada's national rugby team. They're coming here next Saturday, a week tomorrow, for a big international game against Zimbabwe. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm going to find a little bit about his path, how a kid from St. Vital ended up on the national team, and what it's like playing pro rugby and obviously representing Canada. Looking forward to the World Cup next year. Just before we bring in the fellas, big thanks to all the sponsors that make WST happen each and every day. Of course, our partners at Coolbet, Princess Auto, Chud's Power Sports, Clean Line, Manitoba Battery and Aikens Lake, Breezy Bend, Royal Sports, Boston Pizza, Little Brown Jug. Going to be a few Little Brown Jugs enjoyed this weekend, I think, with this weather we've got here. Travel Manitoba, the Gold Eyes, who are back at home tonight and all weekend against Gary down at the Blue Cross Park. Assiniboia Downs, Rollies Transfer, our friends Dr. Terry and the gang at St. Vital Dental Center. And, of course, we'll get to a why not question of the day for Not Autocorp at Waverly and McGillivray. Let's get the boys in here and get this show on the road. Michael Remis and a returning Connor Rabchak. Connor, how are you?
I'm doing great, Huss. I'm going to try and stay cool tonight at the Bomber game. Really looking forward to this one. I sit in section 209, which is like right in the sun. We get some coverage, but it's going to be a hot one. I'm ready for it. Was at the Sea Bears game last night. They're 7-0 at home. What a game it was, too. It was tight in the fourth quarter, the target time, so much drama involved in that. Those Sea Bears games are such a blast. And hey, when they win every single game at home, it's a little bit more fun. And I'm checking out a Gold Eyes game this weekend, too. So I'm hitting the big three on this weekend for Winnipeg sports. I love it. Nicely
done. A back-to-back-to-back. Sea Bears last night. You can basically do it right through the week because the Sea Bears are playing on Sunday afternoon as well. So if you do Sea Bears yesterday, or maybe you missed yesterday's game, tonight get your ass to Princess Auto Stadium. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock start, Saturday night happy hour at the ballpark for the Winnipeg Gold Eyes. And then 2:30 p.m. Sunday afternoon as the Sea Bears look to continue their undefeated streak at Canada Life Center against it. Remo, it is a pretty good sports weekend, and obviously two of these games are outside, but it's a great time if you can handle the heat to get outside and make the most of our beautiful summer. And if you don't like the heat, you can take it inside to Canada Life Center and see the hottest team in the CEBL.
Yeah, I'll be at the Sea Bears game on Sunday. Super pumped for that, taking the family to that one. But I'm really fired up for this Bomber game tonight. As you mentioned, the weather. I'll be biking to the game, taking in the bike valet.
And, we're veterans of the bike ride.
Yes.
Honor you too.
Yes.
Just being outside is going to be great. But I'm really excited to see Drew Brown at quarterback. What's he going to bring? And could we see a game, one of those wild ones that have, I don't know, like 70, 80, 90 combined points like we saw last week with the Argos and the Stampeders, where Vernon Adams had, tying record number of touchdowns? Well, Drew Brown getting a chance here after, the Ottawa Red Blacks. We saw them yesterday, went with Jake Mayer at quarterback. It's been a rough one for him, and I think Drew Brown's got his eyes on revenge tonight on the CFL. So I can't wait for what should be a great night at Princess Auto Stadium.
Well, like you want a revenge game. Next week, it's the Bombers and the Ottawa Red Blacks. So a nice start for Drew Brown would be big. And listen, they're probably going to need it from him. Because if there's one thing the Argos do very well, it's throw the football. Like I was looking at Chad Kelly's over-under over at Coolbet. It's 339 yards. I think he's gone for 400 three times this year already. They haven't done a very good job of keeping opposition offenses out of their end zone, though. So I think there is some pressure on this offense to, operate at a legit CFL level. I mean, you can make the argument that they didn't last week. I mean, I'm not putting that on Taylor Elgersma. I thought he did exactly what the coaching staff asked him to do. He went out. The training wheels were still on, but he managed the game. He didn't turn the football over. The offensive line and Brady Oliveira took over that game in the fourth quarter, and they ended up winning. I don't know whether there's a path to victory tonight against Chad Kelly and the Argos doing it that way. So, Connor, I mean, this is a big chance for Drew Brown. And you know what? I'll tell you what. The best thing maybe for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers that we could have when we fire up the show on Monday is, dare I say it, a little bit of a growing quarterback controversy. Because, listen, Zach is, I think Zach was a little diminished last year. Now, he came back better at the start of this season, but the offense still hasn't been on the level of many of the other teams in the Canadian Football League. And listen, I think the jury's still out on whether Drew Brown can be a legitimate, consistent, winning starting quarterback in the league. He put up some big numbers in Ottawa. They weren't always winning games, and obviously a lot of that falls on the quarterback, but there's so much more to it. So he's getting out there tonight. He's got Brady Oliveira. He's got a great offensive line. All eyes are going to be on him. But Connor, in reality, let's face it, if the Bombers are going to win this game, we're going to need a big, big performance for 60 minutes, starting like in the first quarter by the team, but especially Jordan Younger's defense, who has kind of been carved early in games by top QBs this season.
For sure. And the Toronto Argonauts are the over team of this season, right? They put up a ton of points, but their defense is statistically the worst in the Canadian Football League. 38 points against per game is what they're allowing. So if you look at Drew Brown, this is a really soft spot for him to come in. And ideally, you'd like to have him here for longer, have him have more practice time with the team for sure. But you're at home. All of your weapons are healthy when it comes to the wide receiver group and the O-line and Brady Oliveira. And you're going up against a Toronto Argonauts defense that is last in the CFL in points per game, last in the CFL in passing yards against per game, and second last in total yards per game. So Drew Brown, like you said, Huss, he always put up some good-looking numbers. A lot of that was, the Red Blacks would be down by 20 points in the blink of an eye, and they'd have to pass the ball 50 times to get back into a game, and Drew Brown would end up with 400 yards. But I think if the Winnipeg offense can maintain a little bit of balance tonight, Drew Brown's going to be able to take advantage of what has been a very porous pass defense on the other side of the football in the Toronto Argonauts. His first ever start at home in a Blue Bombers uniform. I know Ken brought that up yesterday on the show. So I think it's going to be very fascinating to see how he does. And then the other side of the ball, I mean, statistically, the Bombers' defense has actually been one of the best in the CFL so far this year. And I think that speaks more to the state of defenses across the league. But certainly, Toronto's passing attack is unbelievable. They have a number of receivers that can do damage. Coxie, Polk, they have so many weapons. Can Jordan Younger's defense kind of weather the storm if Chad Kelly and that passing attack gets going pretty early? And then if the defense can't stop him, how can Drew Brown respond and maybe keep Winnipeg in it? I could see a game with a lot of points happening where, Winnipeg has hit a lot of unders this year. Toronto's hit a lot of overs. I think the script of the game will kind of dictate how this one goes and whether or not Winnipeg can, as an home underdog, go out and get a win over the Argos.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it has been an incredible rarity over the last 5 or 6 years. I think it might have happened twice for the Bombers to be a dog at home. And Remo, I'll be honest. I'm riding with the Bombers in this game, and we talked about it on Lock Shop. We'll do cool bet lines a little bit later on. But there is a big part of me that will blindly back the Bombers in this game, because it is inconceivable to think that this team is going to lose their first 3 home games to me at Princess Auto Stadium in front of sold-out crowds. And my God, is this the stage set for another incredible night of Blue Bomber football, both on the field and in the stands.
Yeah, this is also the 5th straight road game for Toronto. They've had this brutal schedule here with the World Cup being at Toronto Stadium, known as BMO Field, when the Argos play there. But you look at the Bombers, a bit of concern about the offense and how it's going to look with Drew Brown. They have 89 points for this season. That's the lowest in the CFL. And at home, they've had slow starts on offense and on defense. But I think if you talk to Brady Oliveira, well, you know, they've had times where they've missed field goals. I mean, the turnovers at home last game, multiple fumbles, uncharacteristic of the Bombers, these self-inflicted wounds, which leads you to believe, hey, if they just play, you know, a complete game and hold on to the ball, they should be able to put up some points.
Good point.
They've never scored more than 30 points. They had 30 in the first game, against Calgary. And you're going to need to score to go up against this Argos team. You mentioned a number of receivers, Coxie, Polk, Kevin Maidal, Unger, Cayman. They've got a lot of guys that Chad Kelly can throw to.
That Jake Herslow can't even get on the field.
He's not on the field. And with the backup, they got backup running back Hicks is in. He's had some decent games. And yeah, Argos, I mean, they've scored 150 points this year. I mean, that's like 50%, more than 50% more than Winnipeg. But funny enough for the Argos, they've given up the most, as you said, 153. Oh, no, sorry, Ottawa's given up more, but they've played one more game. But as it said, Toronto can score, but they give up points. Bombers are going to have to keep pace, and maybe they can. They're going to have to open up the playbook. Does Drew Brown know all of it? Because they weren't using all of it for Elgersma. And I rewatched that final drive. Yeah, where they won the game, but they just handed it off over and over. And I don't think that's going to be the winning strategy for them tonight.
I'll tell you what. I mean, if the Bombers have their way, the fourth quarter will look pretty much like that.
Yes.
I mean, if you can get to a position where you need to run the football and get a few first downs and then bring out Sergio Castillo to kick a game winner, Bombers will take that all day long because I think they've got a lot of confidence in it. It's getting to that point. It's playing clean football early on. I mean, you mentioned the turnovers in the game against Edmonton. I mean, the tight end dropped that one, Daniels. Brady had an uncharacteristic fumble, and it wasn't just a fumble. I mean, it was basically, you know, in rugby where they have the thing and they throw the ball up in the air. Like, I still never really saw what the physics was behind how that ball went in the air the way that it did. But the bottom line is they got to take care of the football, and that's going to be a big thing on Drew Brown. Like, can Drew Brown be efficient but take care of it? Like, in the past, as I said, he has put up a ton of yards, but there has been issues of red zone efficiency, turnovers. But it's a huge opportunity for Brown guys because, I mean, the way I see this was Zach not practicing this week and obviously being injured. And, you know, it's an upper body injury. We'll just leave it at that. If Drew Brown can come out with a strong performance tonight and get this win, I think it's all but certain that he would get the start next week and give Zach a little bit of extra time off, and he can go up against his own team, his old team in the Ottawa Red Blacks. And I'll tell you what, if this offense looks good over these next couple of games and they win, then we're starting to talk about, okay, who gives you the best chance to win? Now, I do think a healthy Zach Collaros wanting to be in there will be the number one choice of Mike O'Shea. But, I mean, this is a competitive business. You always get into that spot at some point. When Zach signed the extension after his last contract, you knew that at some point there would be, or you would hoped that there would be some competition and someone pushing him. And Drew Brown's not only making a statement for this season, but also to be a big part of the Blue Bomber quarterback room in the future. So we're going to talk quite a bit about it today. Ed Tate, as I said, a little bit later on. We've also got Jeff Hamilton, and we'll hit the CFL and more with the Dusty a little bit later on. Connor, Elks keep on doing it. I mean, listen, I didn't think that they would be really pressed. I love the fact that the line last night was less than a touchdown. And they kind of showed that the Elks have arrived as, like, I'm not going to say the best team in the league, but they have been a joke for the last 5 to 6 years. I mean, they weren't at the end of last season, but that was because they finally got a quarterback in there that can lead them. Cody Fajardo is that dude right now. They're 4-1, and the Din Whistle's got a lot of work to do in the nation's capital.
Yeah, I mean, Dinwiddie, like, people always say he's sending messages and he's benching players to do this. Like, I don't know what the message being sent to Ottawa Redblacks fans is through 5 games of this season here. But Huss, I was going to ask you, I mean, I think it's a sore spot to ask, but Justin Rankin, did you catch his performance last night after the incident with our CFL fantasy league?
Every game, man, every game. And like even last week when he got bottled up and he only had like 20 yards rushing, you're like, oh, caught 10 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he is automatic. And right now, we'll talk about this with Dusty in a minute. He's on pace for 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, and breaking Milt Stiegel's touchdown record as well. So hopefully the Bomber defense and maybe a few other defenses can step up a little bit better against Mr. Rankin going forward. But the Bomber defense is going to need to step up tonight against one Chad Kelly and this high-octane Argos offense. Remo, not a lot going on in the hockey scene right now. The aftermath of the Leo Carlson offer sheet match is now well underway in Anaheim. But holy smokes, dude, we touched on this a little bit yesterday. I can't remember something that was so unanimously supported and have so many people that maybe traditionally might be on different sides of arguments and takes that are angry, borderline disgusted with what has happened with the Stanley Cup and this Tom Dundon. I mean, it is not slowing down at all. And there's a lot of people calling on Commissioner Gary Bettman to do something about it.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anything to change, and I think this is just a case of a billionaire getting what he wants, putting his whole entire family on the Stanley Cup. And I do think it's wrong to have a 7-year-old kid or a child in elementary school who has nothing to do with running the team on the cup. But the takes are coming in extreme, and I am loving the reaction. Hockey Insider for TSN Athletic, Chris Johnston, putting out there yesterday, the first thought that comes to mind, embarrassing those first 2 lines, and then doubling down, saying, let me be crystal clear, if you didn't give every last piece of your being to earn this thing, you don't deserve to have your name engraved. If you're in primary school in Dallas when a team wins in Raleigh, forget it. Chris Johnston. I saw Mitch Gallo from TSN Radio in Montreal say this is like when WCW put the belt on David Arquette. Just embarrassing the trophy. I saw someone else in the comments refer to this as equivalent to stolen valor. The takes out there are coming. I'm here for it. Oh, I had someone message us in our DM saying this is the type of thing that can curse a franchise forever.
Oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
The opinions are flying. And it is, they did X out Peter Pocklington's dad, who he just threw on. Like, I don't know why this was okay, but again, it's another case, Huss. If you've got billions of dollars, you can do whatever you want, and nobody's going to stop you.
Yeah,
Connor, I'm sure you've seen the same outrage, and probably
I've seen.
I have yet to see one single person going, you know what? He owns the team. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
They're doing that.
Unanimous on this one.
A lot of Carolina fans are saying he bought the team, saved them from relocation, let him do whatever he wants. And I think it's It's gross. You can't put people on there who aren't part of the team. And people say, yeah, Florida, Vinny Viola put his family. Well, they were listed as alternate governors, and you can argue, yeah, it's nepotism, made up position. They're part of the organization. Like, people are not part of the organization or on the Stanley Cup. Seems wrong. And I saw Ray Ferraro's on X. What did former Carolina Hurricane Jeff O'Neill's like? He wrote not surprised was his comment. Let me see his official. It was, I don't forget what it was. Outrageous yet not surprising. So I mean, everyone seems to have a take on this, saying like this should be rules against this.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to stuff like this, and Remis is bang on, like everyone has a take on it. I agree with the majority, like the everyone who's saying that it's ridiculous. I can't believe they're doing this, and then they point to the Florida example as like, well, look, they put their names on it. Well, those people worked for the organization. It's a little bit different. I think they took it a step too far, but I do enjoy just being able to sit back and just watch the carnage, like I'm not out there on Twitter firing off takes on this and inviting the battle, if you will. I just like taking a scroll and seeing everyone.
I respect the Canes fans actually that are backing their guy. I hadn't thought about it in that fashion, but
if you're a Canes fan though, wouldn't you not like this? Like, wouldn't you want?
Listen, if you put a gun on my head or truth serum in? Would I prefer that it was done properly? Absolutely. But I will say this. Imagine this scenario where the Winnipeg Jets won a Stanley Cup. So Mark Chipman does everything, achieves the impossible of getting us back in the NHL and then leads us to a Stanley Cup. I wouldn't care if he put every manager from Birchwood Automotive on the damn Stanley Cup because it's here in Winnipeg. Now,
that's fair. That's a fair point.
The point being is that you're doing it. Like, honestly, if they were just there, who cares? The fact of the matter is, though, that there's players like Nystrom played 38 games. He's not on there. Mm-hmm. There's an equipment manager that's been with this organization since the 70s, I think. Not there. One of the most respected PR people that are there, that are part of it, that have been excluded because of a freaking 5-year-old. So it's a joke. But listen, I'm sure Gary Bettman's not pleased with this. I don't think Tom Dundon gives a shit at the end of the day. And that, unfortunately, is a problem.
I do agree with this comment from Big Al. Like, you watch other sports championship ceremonies and they always give the owner the trophy first, like in the Super Bowl, the World Series, NBA final, Larry O'Brien. I remember Larry Tannenbaum getting it when the Raptors won. And then he says next we'll be handing the Stanley Cup to the owner and not the players first. And that's the best part of the Stanley Cup. You want to stay and watch the celebration. You want to see the iconic lifts. Jordan Staal this year. You think Crosby, Ovechkin, the legends getting it first as captain. Well, watch out, Huss. If the Carolina wins again, Tom Dundon's going to be there on the ice getting it first, lifting it over his head.
This is his way. Eagle Eyes with a great thought in chat. Future tradition, Stanley Cup put hockey tape over the 2026 Carolina Hurricanes when they win the Cup. Just have that. Why not question of the day for not Autocorp at Waverly and McGillivray? Is this an overreaction, or is this one of the more Bush League actions that a major pro sports league owner has done, whether or not they are champions of their respective league? Hey, while we're at it, Reem, before we bring in Dusty, I want to get to our Chuds Power Sports Power Poll. CFL Power Poll, we'll usually do this a little earlier in the week, but I wanted to get the World Cup one in yesterday. Of course, our friends at Chuds are ready for summer and ready for this weekend, folks. Head on up to the corner of Highway 8 and 231 in Gimli. The Derminator and the wonderful people at Chuds Power Sports, Manitoba's Power Sports Superstore for over 80 years, are waiting for you Check out everything they've got cooking right now. ATVs, side-by-sides, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, off-road vehicles, boats and outboard motors, RVs, everything to take your summer to the next level. Waiting for you at Chud's Power Sports with the best deals, financing, and staff around in the province. All right, CFL Power Poll for Chud's. We're starting it off at number 5, and number 5 is the Argos. And to me, they're 2-2. Bombers are 2-2. Tonight is a battle. Winner remains in the top 5 of the power poll. But to me, it's pretty clear above the Bombers and Argos, who both come in at 2-2. Listen, the bottom line is the Argos are favored tonight in Winnipeg, so I think that tells you all you need to know about how these teams are perceived. Bombers, if they can get the win, will jump into the CFL power poll, but right now they're on the outside looking in at number 6. Number 4, as we continue the power poll, is the Calgary Stampeders. And I'll be honest, I could make an argument that the Stamps are the best team right now in the Canadian Football League. Their 2 losses have been on the final play of the game, Sergio Castillo's kick, overtime in the second week, and then they've come back with 2 absolutely incredible performances so far this season. They're in Montreal this week, and funny enough, the Montreal Alouettes are next on that list, and I think we're going to basically see these 2 teams battling in what should be the game of the week, and whoever wins this game is going to be in the mix, I think, for the number 1 team in the Canadian Football League as we go into the next week. Next up is number 3, Reem, and as I mentioned, that's the Montreal Alouettes. Listen, the record's good, 3-1, lost to Edmonton. They've been playing some really close games, and this is a huge test. This is the start of a home-and-home between Montreal and Calgary. I imagine these teams will probably split the next 2 weeks, but big chance for the Stamps to get one on the road and rise in the CFL power poll. The number 2 team are the defending Grey Cup champions, Saskatchewan Roughriders. They've looked very good so far this year, but they're not 4-1. They're not on top of the league, and that team is the Edmonton Elks. And when you look at the teams that they've beaten so far this season, they deserve to be where they are right now. Now, can the Elks hang for the rest of the season at number 1 on the Chud's Power Sports CFL Power Poll? I kind of doubt it, but it speaks to just how good this division is. And listen, Remo, while you might as well pull up the number 1 with the Elks there. And if you look at this week, and this is part of the reason why this game and this weekend is so big, Bombers want to get to 3-2. Calgary wants to get to 3-2. I think Saskatchewan will roll over Hamilton and get to 4-1. BC could be sitting here on the bye week and be 2.5 games back of 4th place right now, and you know BC is going to pick it up at some point. So there you have it. The heading into the week, including yesterday, I guess, week 6, Chud's Power Sports CFL Power Poll. We'll hit this weekly on CFL 110 as well, right here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Connor, any beefs with this list, or does it make sense to you?
No, I like this list. I think the inclusion of the Bombers as an honorable mention for that 5 spot, depending on who wins tonight, is a smart one. I would consider maybe Montreal higher, but that's based less off of how they've performed so far and more that Hamilton is now without Bo Levi Mitchell, and it seems pretty clear that Montreal is going to have quite the path to the Grey Cup. And I know Grey Cup is months away, and Toronto is certainly on this list and could be there as well. But Montreal came in as a favorite to come out of the East and represent the East in the Grey Cup, and now with no Bo Levi and Hamilton, I mean, that their chances just have gone way up. You look at the Elks, I think they deserve to be number 1. Justin Rankin is the best player in the CFL right now. You mentioned that he's on pace for, 25 touchdowns to break Milt Stiegel's record. That would be unbelievable, and the yardage totals he's on pace for is crazy as well. Saskatchewan, number 2. their one loss this year is to Toronto on home fields. So Toronto, maybe they're going a bit underrated if they can figure out their defensive issues. But yeah, I like this list. And I think whoever wins this Alouettes Stampeders game this week, especially if it's the Stamps on the road, I think they have a case to be up there with the Elks. Maybe the Battle of Alberta is going to be the top two on next week's power poll. But yeah, I like this list, Huss. It's pretty good.
Big tailgate plans tonight before the game?
Always. Well, okay, where Remis is biking, I'm interested to see like where he's going. I know we hit the soccer tailgate and the official Bombers tailgate last game, the three of us. I usually just hang out at home and then hit the official Bombers tailgate. But Remis, where are you? Are you planning on hitting anything before the game or no?
Might go to that like in front there where they had the stage and the inflatables. Maybe grab some drinks there, maybe some food. I'll have to decide what I'm going to be eating at the game tonight, but I'm going to make sure I bring plenty of water and stay hydrated here tonight. And they did put out some information about what water stations at the game as well. I got to bring that up here, but make sure. Oh yes, here it is. They'll have hydration stations at a number of sections as well. You can bring in a factory sealed bottle, so make sure to do that as well.
There's gonna be hydration stations tonight. Don't everybody
hydration breaks. We have FIFA in the house halfway through every quarter. Hydration break for everyone.
Certainly for the fans. For the fans. Yeah. Connor, great stuff as always. Have a great weekend, and we will look forward to seeing you at the game tonight and getting you back on the show next week. We've got a lot to get to, so we should pick it up here. Pick up the pace. It was a fun opening segment. Dustin Nielson's going to join us in just a minute. Of course, Princess Auto, place to be tonight. And of course, a big sponsor and supporter of the Bombers, the Jets, and Winnipeg Sports Talk is Cleanline. I saw Cleanline's mascot for the first time. Cleanline guy. I should talk to Jeremy and find out if he has a name. He'll be out there. Of course, Cleanline is your number one spot for Winnipeg residential and commercial plumbing, heating, and electrical services, and are Winnipeg's most trusted plumbers with over 40 years of fast responses, lasting results, and 24/7 emergency services across all of Winnipeg. Remember the number, gang, 204-500-2001. With 24/7 emergency services whenever you need it. You can also schedule an appointment for all your plumbing or heating and electrical needs online at cleanline.ca. Manitoba Battery, another proud sponsor of the Bombers, will be well represented tonight and throughout the summer. Listen, we were talking about all those great toys you get at Chud's Power Sports, but you got to get batteries, and Manitoba Battery is your local option for the best in batteries for literally everything you could possibly need at the best prices. Manitoba Battery allows you to shop local, beat the pants off the big box stores when it comes to price, and get the best in customer service as well. 2 Winnipeg locations, Logan Avenue, Dover Court Drive in the South End, and you can also order online at manitobabattery.com or give them a call, and they can deliver those batteries to you anywhere inside the perimeter as well. And hey, just before we bring in Dusty, if you have a move coming up this summer or fall, make plans to get some help from the experts at Rolly's Transfer. Family owned and operated for over 60 years. They are the most trusted name in moving in Manitoba. And if you check out their website at rollys.com, you can click on request an estimate in the top right corner. Use the promo code WST for a special discount on moving services and moving supplies for Winnipeg Sports Talk listeners. And then simply let them know when and where you're moving and when it needs to go. And the friendly staff at Rolly's will turn it around quickly with a great quote and get you locked in for the white glove treatment and service that they've been famous for now into their 7th decade. For all your moving needs, make it Rolly's, the most trusted name in the game. Find out more today at rollys.com. All right, let's bring in voice of the Canadian Football League on TSN, my pal Dustin Nielson, who will have the call tonight. Big man, great to have you on the big show here in the Peg. How are you?
Live from the Delta in Winnipeg. Here I am on WST, fresh off a nice order of attendees last night, my man, and feeling pretty good today. Ready to call a game. First time in Winnipeg this season, which is crazy.
When you roll into ENC right now, do they even need to ask?
Not really. Not really. Like, we had 4 of us there last night. All 4 of us got the tendies. So it's just something the whole crew does now. But I gotta tell you, man, I know it's warm, but it was so warm last night at the ENC. It was like sitting in a sauna. We asked the lady, we're like, what's going on? Like, turn up the air conditioning. Like, what's happening in here right now? And she's like, it's controlled by the hotel. And it was tough. I had to like grind through those tendies last night because I was sweating like a pig.
Temperature in restaurants right now is a real challenge. I spent some time with some friends and a couple clients at the BP Taylor last night, where I have been living basically for the World Cup. They did such a great job with the Reno. It's an unbelievable spot to watch games. Their air conditioning is out of control. I don't know how the girls do it that are working there, that they're not wearing like hoodies or pullovers or something.
Oh, it's freezing in there. Okay.
Oh my God. Like, I mean, which is good right now, and I think everyone appreciates it. But yes, the restaurant managers always having a tough time getting to that sweet spot right now. Speaking of the weather, though, how about this setup for tonight's game? I mean, we're looking at probably 30 degrees, feeling like 33, 34. Beautiful night. I mean, you don't have a setup better for Friday night football than tonight with the Bombers and Argos in the south side.
I think this is going to be pretty good. And so last week, we were in Ottawa, and it was a scorcher in Ottawa too. But there, like, the sun directly into the booth for like 4 straight hours. At least with the booth here in the Peg, we'll have a little bit of shade cover. Like, it was like Luke and I both had our sleeves like rolled up halfway up our arms. Like, it was insanely hot. And then I heard it's gonna be like 35 in Regina on Sunday or something. So, I mean, my wheelhouse, I say all the time, it's 20 to 23 degrees. I don't want anything more. Just give me 21 degrees all year long. But at least there'll be some cover for us in the Peg tonight. And yeah, I'm excited, man. You know, I love doing games here. So I'm very excited to finally get to do one Princess Auto this season.
Yeah, this next week for us is going to be, I mean, prime time. They call it a heat dome, Dusty. We got
a heat dome.
Heat dome.
Oh, it's not a heat wave anymore. It's a dome.
No. This is the dome because it's not waving through. It's just going to sit over southern Manitoba and bake us all for the next little while. Thoughts on the Bombers at 2-2, and of course, I mean, I guess we're all wondering what we're going to see from Drew Brown in his first start back with the Peg in the Peg tonight.
I guess there's really no answer on Drew Brown, right? Like, we'll just have to see. I mean, I kind of feel somewhat like optimistic that he's going to put together a pretty good game. I mean, he's familiar with a couple of the key pieces. That's got to help him a little bit as well. He's got to have something to prove. And I mean, the one thing that's probably the best thing for Drew Brown tonight is that he's going up against the worst defense in the entire league. Like, the Argos have already 3 times this year allowed a quarterback to throw for over 400 yards. So, I mean, as far as, and now you're going to have to try to outgun Chad Kelly because Chad Kelly's going to get his, I think, even against a good Winnipeg defense. But I don't know. I feel relatively optimistic that Drew Brown's going to make it very interesting tonight, which is good news for the Bombers, you know, depending on how long they'll be without Zach, which I don't think will be very long, but you might as well get a look at him. I was a little surprised. I thought Elgersma, like I was diving into a little bit, I thought they called the game very conservatively for Elgersma when he came in, but I think he went like 11 of 15, had a touchdown. Like, he was just fine for a guy who was just breaking into the league. So, interesting decision for sure. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's basically the second best offense in the league versus the second best defense in the league, and the second worst defense in the league against the worst offense in the league. So something's got to give tonight with these two teams. And I mean, a little bit of pressure on Drew Brown. I don't know. What's the pressure on Drew Brown right now? It's not like he has to take over for the rest of the season. So, I mean, maybe it's a one-off. I don't know what the pressure's like on him.
Well, for me, and I mean, this is maybe a bigger discussion about Drew Brown. I mean, we've talked about him the last few years as he's left Winnipeg. We saw that he had talent. He's gone to Ottawa. I just found, and I'm not sure whether this is on the quarterback or whether it's on the team, but sometimes I found the individual stats that he was able to put up didn't measure up with the success of the team. Like, and I know I called, I referred to them maybe sometimes as sort of empty calories, and it's easy to nitpick. I mean, we always go back to that ridiculous game last year where Strevler completed 3 passes and had 54 yards passing and won on the road in Ottawa against a team that Drew Brown threw for over 400 yards in the same game. Like, you just don't understand how that could be. So, I mean, obviously, he's got to take care of the football. I mean, the one thing that Elgersma did, and I think it was a unique game because basically you were taking quarterbacking out of the equation.
Yeah.
The Bombers weren't going to do anything much. Like, they kept the training wheels on Elgersma. But the Ticats couldn't do anything. And to the Bomber defense credit, they stepped up when they absolutely needed them, and basically shut the door the rest of the way. At that point, and I think that game, Dusty, is a game that the Bombers can really build on, because when it came down to it in the fourth quarter, Hamilton knew what was coming. The Bombers knew what was coming, and they couldn't stop it. And, to get that level of, just moving the chains in the final 3 minutes with Brady Oliveira and that offensive line, that's big for a football team, because so much of it really does start on the line of scrimmage. But to your point, moving here, listen, Drew Brown's got to be able to move the football, and we'll see what pressure the Argos offense puts on the Blue Bombers. Like, they're not looking to, they're home dogs, so there's no spread to cover, but you know what I'm saying is they're not looking to win by margin. They're looking to win a football game, and you can do it in many different ways, and the Bombers have been. What I am interested in, though, is if Jordan Younger's defense can, minimize the damage from the Argo offense. And does that allow the Bomber defense or offense to be a little more conservative? Or is Drew Brown going to have to step up in his first start as a Bomber and go toe-to-toe with an offensive machine, which is what the Argos offensive unit has looked like most of the season?
Yeah, I think this is a lame answer, but it's probably going to be a little bit of both, because to me, the path to success for the Bombers tonight is going to be the defense creating 2 or 3 turnovers and giving Drew Brown good field position. And Drew Brown's capable of finishing off some drives that started, let's say, the Toronto 40 or something along those lines. Like, Chad Kelly has been phenomenal. I was going over some of this prep today. So he has 5 receivers in the top 18 in the league in yards so far. 5. His whole 5 receivers are all top 18 in the league. Like, they are. Coxie's got 294 yards. Polk's got 253 yards. Mital's got 349. Common's got 240. And Ungerer's got 3 touchdowns and 275 yards. And the other thing, and I don't know if this is something that makes it easier for Younger, outside of those 5 receivers and his 2 running backs, he hasn't thrown a ball to anybody else the entire year. Like, usually there's some other depth guys that get involved. You're mixing in a fullback here or there. You're mixing in, modern day tight end in the CFL. He literally has only thrown the ball to his same 5 receivers the entire season. So they've managed to stay healthy. The thing with Kelly, and this is why I say that the Bombers defense, which has been pretty good so far this year, if they're going to win this game tonight, they have to create a couple turnovers. He's thrown 8 interceptions, which is 4 more than any other quarterback in the entire league. So he's gunslinging it. Like, he leads the league in yards. He leads the leagues in a bunch of stuff, but he also leads the league by twice as much as anybody else in interceptions. So now 4 of those came in one game against Ottawa, but he sprinkled in interceptions in other places as well. And I think that's got to be the key. I mean, you look at the Nichols and I think Cramdy and Holm and some of these guys, they're going to have to make some plays on the football. And if they do, I think it gives the Bombers a real good fighting chance, because the Argos just can't stop anybody, or at least they haven't so far. They haven't stopped anybody the entire season. So, as a selfish play-by-play perspective, I hope we get a 40-37 shootout. But I just think the Bombers are going to have to make a couple of defensive plays, because it's too tall a task, I think, for anybody in the league to think you're just going to sit there and outgun the Argos offense.
Kelly, that Argos offense has been a big part of it. But, we joked the last couple weeks on CFL 110 as all these numbers have gone nuclear, that both CFL defensive coordinators and CFL line makers are having counseling sessions right now, because there's just, it's not going their way. At a certain point, the defenses need to catch up to what the offenses are doing. Now, listen, when you have quarterback injuries, that's the first thing, and we saw a big-time example of that last on Saturday night. But, I mean, this is a big challenge for the Bomber defense. I mean, if you look at – I mean, this team's 0-2 at home.
That's happen. So crazy to me.
and you know, a big part of it has been, you know, obviously Cody Fajardo came up huge with that late drive after the Bomber defense did have a really good second half. But, I mean, the Bo Levi Mitchell in the home opener was, I mean, sort of concerning, I think, for a lot of Bomber fans that, you know, either the mix, the scheme just was not set up. And, I mean, he absolutely sliced the Bombers up. So, I mean, listen, they need to step up. The Blue Bombers, you know, the quarterback, but I mean, to me, I think it's going to be the offensive line, the running game, which will allow Drew Brown, hopefully, to feel comfortable and start moving that football. But to your point, I mean, this is a game that if the Bombers are going to win, they're going to need to figure some things out on defense and keep the Argos somewhat in check, as opposed to the 35+ they've been throwing up. Elks get another win last night. How about this? 4-1. They've. I mean, you're in the market, and like, we don't need to go through the last 7 years, but they hadn't been 500 since 2019. And listen, we saw last night a lot of empty seats. I mean, there's a lot of work for the organization to do, but the first thing they needed to do is have a watchable product and a team that I think people can actually start to consider embracing again. And I got to give Mark Killam and his staff a lot of credit. The continuity going into year 2, it seems they've made another few steps forward, and Cody Fajardo is a hell of a leader for that team.
Yeah, like that's the thing, and it's obviously going to take some time because they're off to a great start, and the crowd still sucked last night. It was like just over 15,000 announced, but people who were there were like, it wasn't close to 15,000. So they're going to have to get that sorted out. Next Friday, they're at home against the BC Lions. It's a Friday night. I mean, you're 4-1. You're going up against the only team that's beaten you so far. The reigning MOP's in town. Your organization's never beaten him. There's no excuse to not have over 20. Like, asking for 20,000 on a Friday night at Commonwealth when your team's really good. There's no excuse for that not to happen. Plus, tickets are like insanely reasonable. You got in last night's game for $25. Kids could have got in for less than $15 last night. So, like, you can't even text into my show in the morning and be like, it's too expensive to go to an Elks game, because the bottom line is it's just not. It's like going out for a sub somewhere for lunch. So you can get to the games there. But they've got a couple of things going for them. One, I think probably for like almost the last decade, this team had no identity. None at all whatsoever. Now you've got Mark Killam, who comes across as a grinder of a coach, and a guy who everybody will run through a wall for, and he has the exact same personality in his quarterback, and Cody Fajardo. And I thought, like, Fajardo was over 300 yards last week, but had 3 interceptions. I thought Cody was excellent last night. I thought he was absolutely on point last night. Over 300 yards again, insanely accurate, you know. And on top of all of that, they've got star power in Justin Rankin. Like, Justin Rankin is worth the price of admission. And you don't say that very often about CFL players who aren't quarterbacks, but Justin Rankin is one of them. Like last night, 3 more touchdowns again. He's on pace to beat Milt's CFL touchdown record right now. Now, it's early in the season, and his would be through the air and on the ground, but it's still ridiculous. He's still on pace for the 1,000 that he wanted to do, and I think he's on pace for like 2,900 total yards. So, I don't know what else you need to go watch this football team right now. So, and they're one of the better defensive teams in League Two, I think. So, we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm even a little bit hesitant to say like, oh, they're a Grey Cup contender, because it's still early. They're still kind of showing what they're capable of. I think at times their offense could be limited. Certainly wasn't last night. Ottawa's a bit of a different story, but. Yeah, the 15,000 at Thursday night, whatever. That's still a disappointing number, man. Next Friday night, I'm going to be there. That's my first Edmonton game next Friday night. And there should be 25,000 people there next Friday night. What else are you doing? Like, get out to the Elks game, man.
Hess, you just got to unmute yourself there. Hess.
Sorry, it is difficult to compare the Thursday and the Sunday games to some of the Friday and the Saturdays. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the Bombers have been on this great stretch. I mean, I don't believe we've had a Sunday night home game. And I think that's something the team really pushes away from. They'd rather have the Thursday than the Sunday. And I think as a fan, I too would rather have the Thursday and the Sunday. But overall, I mean, Hammer had a slow start. The team was playing well. You're going to be doing that game, Ticats Riders on Sunday night. And listen, the Riders are who we thought they were, Grey Cup contending team, defending champs. I thought the Ticats looked really good at the start of the year. And now, Dusty, I mean, you want to talk about the difference of one player. We were talking on Lock Shop earlier, like, I don't know how high you would have to take this line for me to consider the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the weekend after what we saw from Trey Ford and Jake Dolegala. It makes the Bombers' preemptive strike to get Drew Brown look pretty smart business, considering what Hamilton's going into Mosaic on Sunday with.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely build this up as the Jake Dolegala revenge game, as the only time he ever really was a starter in the league consistently was with the Riders for a little bit. But it doesn't surprise me that they're going with Jake as opposed to Trey. I know a lot of people are like, well, why wouldn't they go with Trey Ford? They just brought him in. But Dolegala was around last year. If you're trying to compare, either of them to Bo, stylistically, Dolegala at least is a pocket passer, whereas Trey just doesn't have that in his game right now to be able to throw from the pocket consistently. But that's a world of hurt. I had people texting into my show yesterday going, should I drop Kenny Lawler in fantasy? And first of all, I was like, oh, I love that people are asking about CFL fantasy questions, but you still can't drop Kenny Lawler. Like, if they're going to throw to one guy, it's going to be Kenny Lawler, probably Keandre Smith a little bit. But Hamilton's offense is going to be, that's a lot of trouble, and there's nobody else to pick up, right? Drew Brown's been traded. MBT's already been signed. If MBT hadn't been signed already, I'm assuming when Bo went down, that would have been the first call that the Ticats would have made, right? Because MBT can come in. We saw him very briefly at the end of the game last night. And even then, he just makes the position, he makes playing the position look easier than Jake Mayer does. So I think you're going to see the Red Blacks probably get a little bit of a boost if they continue to go with MBT. By the way, his beard was incredible last night.
I was just about to say.
How good is that? That is some elite level beard coming out of bottom of helmet style that he's got going on right now. But the Ticats are going to struggle. They're going to struggle to find offense. The Riders, I thought last week, I did that game last week. The Riders, I thought it was not dysfunctional, but not efficient. Their offense was not efficient. Luckily for them, they were playing Ottawa, and they had just enough to get it done, but they're going to need to play better. Well, actually, they might not. They might not need to play better than they did last week to beat the Ticats this week. But who knows? Maybe Dolegala's got something up his sleeve.
And then, of course, the game that you won't be calling, I imagine you'll be paying attention to it. To me,
I'll be watching that game.
Calgary, Montreal. Al's 3.5-point favorite. I'm on Calgary. I think this is going to be a real tight one. The one thing, the Alouettes have been very good. They did lose to the Elks, but they've been playing in some really, really close games. And with the way VA's rolling right now, I think we're in for a treat on Saturday night.
I was just going to say, Calgary's 2 walk-off losses away from a 4-0 start.
Exactly.
Calgary's a pretty good football team right now.
Hey, just before we go, it's been an interesting offseason for the Oilers. We were always joking when we were doing Lock Shop that, losing in the first round somehow managed to have the same numbers throughout a Stanley Cup playoff run on EST because of the chaos. But as things settle down, how are Oiler fans feeling about the upcoming season and the Babcock era?
Yeah, I was actually just running the numbers because the month of June is behind us. And April, May, June of this year, significantly higher than the 2 cup runs, which is insane. But the Oilers did it in they just kept giving us juice, right? It was Cassidy. Well, you want Cassidy as your number 1 choice, but you still haven't fired Knobloch. Oh, well, then we'll have to let Knobloch go. Now they can get Cassidy. Well, you can't talk to Cassidy. Oh, well, now what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to do the one thing that no team's done in the last 3 years, and that's give Mike Babcock another thing. And then there's the Babcock investigation, and is he going to be allowed to coach? And it went on and on and on. But then got to free agency, and I don't know if I'm as excited about the free agency work as a lot of fans are, but the fan base is very excited about what Stan Bowman did or possibly didn't do with some of that cap space that he got after moving off of Darnell Nurse with nothing retained. So, but I'll also say this, the market's been pretty excited about the last couple of free agencies as well. And then we get to December and you're going, oh my God, what'd you do with this guy? Why'd you bring this guy back? So we'll see. I honestly think what they did since free agency is very much, but you can spin it either way. You can spin it extremely positively. They've got a goaltender for the future. They've got another goalie that can come in, but you can also say the goalie for the future had been trending in the wrong direction in Buffalo, and the other guy that they brought in only plays like 30 to 35 games a year and is very injury prone. You can say they moved off Darnell Nurse, that's fine, but they bring in Ryan Shea, who had a great year last year, but has only done it once in his entire career. And then they basically brought back the same forward group. So I think the best thing that going for them is that they've got $6 million in cap space, and they can either add somebody now, they can add somebody at the deadline, and actually give themselves legitimate flexibility. Like for the last 10 years, we've been going to the deadline in Edmonton going, it's a money in, money out situation. And that sucks. And now, they'll actually have some walking around money. So maybe they'll actually be able to do something positive during the season as opposed to the last few years where it's been a little bit of a letdown.
Dustin Nielson, great to have you on the show here in the Peg, buddy. Missed you today on Lock Shop, but we'll look forward to getting together again, folks. If you want more, me and Dusty together every day, noon, before Winnipeg Sports Talk, head on over to EST and you can join us chopping it up on the Lock Shop. And of course, we'll look forward to the broadcast tonight and then see a little bit more of your smiling face on Sunday night on a busy weekend for you. Have a great call tonight, pal. Thanks for jumping on today. It's always fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, buddy.
Talk to you soon. All right, great stuff with Dusty. Hammer coming up, Ed Tate as well. Princess Auto Stadium, though, place to be tonight. We'll see. Have they announced a sellout yet, Remis, for this one, or is there still a couple tickets left? I'm sure they'll be gone by 7:30. I can tell you that.
I'm sure they'll be gone. I think it was last game they sold out like around the pregame tailgate. They like just announced it then. They put out on social media they were 1,000 short. Last I saw, so I'm sure it's less now.
Fill it up. Princess Auto Stadium, the place to be tonight. And any other time there's not a game, the new Princess Auto flagship store on Panet Road is the place to be. Be a great spot to maybe cool off. They got free ice cream for the kids. You can take advantage of that this Sunday. Maybe grab a smash burger. Dad might want a beer as you roll around and check out everything awaiting you at the revolutionary retail outlet for Princess Auto. And for all of you that love to fish, that love to camp, hunting, they've got massive new departments at Princess Auto at the flagship store. You're going to want to check it out. 500 Panet Road. I'm looking for it. We got to get out there and do a show there. Try and make that happen in the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, Princess Auto Stadium tonight, Princess Auto the rest of the weekend. Find out more online at princessauto.ca. And, of course, you don't have to go in. You should, but you can always order online and shop 24/7, 365 on their online site. Of course, we did our Chud's Power Sports Power Poll earlier for our friends at Chud's up in Gimli, corner of Highway 8 and 231. If you're looking to take your summer to the next level, get down to Gimli, say hi to the Derminator and the gang, and check out the best in new and used motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs, golf carts, boats and outboard motors, RVs, and off-road vehicles. They have it all. Incredible customer service, great financing options. That's why they have been Manitoba's Power Sports Superstore for over 80 years. Check them out online today, chudspowersports.com, and make the trip up to Gimli and see the gang there. Our friends at St. Patel Dental Center couldn't be more appreciative of Dr. Terry and the gang's support there. And I'll tell you what, heck of a great spot to get all of your dental work done for the entire family. They've been doing it for generations of Winnipeggers and Manitobans, and have a team in a beautiful new facility at 167 St. Anne's Road with convenient free parking right behind the building, state-of-the-art equipment, and they'll take care of clients from 6 months to 99 plus with a full array of dental services from cleanings and checkups to things like dental implants. Dr. Terry and the gang do it all. So make an appointment, stpateldental.ca. Head on down there, say hi to the boys from Winnipeg Sports Talk, and tell them that we sent you. And hey, if you're not in attendance tonight at the game, You want to cool off? Pop by your local Boston Pizza. I can tell you the air conditioning at the BP Taylor is 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10, almost too cool. But we're going to be needing that this weekend. Big day for the World Cup tomorrow. Norway and England, 4 o'clock. Argentina playing their quarterfinal against, was it the Swiss? Tomorrow night at 8. Of course, they'll have the CFL game tomorrow, Calgary and Montreal. Great time and weekend to get out to Boston Pizza, your World Cup home. If you are staying at home, you can always order online and get the great taste of BP by ordering online at bostonpizza.com. All right, Reem, I should have mentioned this earlier, but for folks that are with us live today, lots of love for Dusty. Always great to have him come in on the program. We do have a pair of tickets to give away to the game tonight. Shout out to, I think it was Devontae, one of our listeners, who said, hey, boys, I got an extra pair of tickets for the game tonight. I want to hook up a WST listener. So if you can go to the game, please do not enter if you're not able to go to the game. Remis has a link in the chat right there. Click on that, fill it out. Before we do the cool bet lines and then into marbles, we'll do a quick wheel of winners on WST and we will spin it. And again, it's always nice when our listeners have some extra tickets and think of the other WSTers, Remo. And tell you what, we're gonna put somebody in the seats tonight to throw the blue one, get out, sweat it out, and hopefully see a Blue Bomber victory.
Yeah, shout out to Devontae. Messaged me on Instagram and said, hook up a WST listener. And I said yes. And we also have tickets for the rugby game at Princess Auto Stadium. That's next Saturday. And also the Ballpark Brew Fest, also next Saturday, July 18th. So that's the same link, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. And we will send someone to those 3 events we got tickets for, including the Bomber game tonight.
Yeah, so enter for the Bomber game if you can go tonight, and then also just go to the site, the contest link, the rugby event, and we're going to talk to Kyle Steeves about that coming up later on, just before we do marbles, as well as the Ballpark Brew Fest. There will be no baseball, but there'll be plenty of beer next Saturday. So mark that one on the calendar and stay tuned next week to WST, and you might just win. All right, let's welcome him in. My co-host and tag team partner on CFL 110, it is the one and only Jeff Hamilton. Hammer, what's going on? How are you? Wait a sec. We got a mute issue here.
I think it should be good.
Bit late. I was hesitant to come on here, Huss, because I've been talking this big game, leading into these poker tournaments, and here we are, two in, and I'm, not in the qualifying circle, and got to give a lot of credit to Eagle Eyes out there. Battled with him in the past. I know he was one of the qualifiers. Yep. He bullied me a little bit, well, a lot actually near the end, especially. But I guess what I'm trying to say here, Huss, is I returned to this station to let you guys know I got a whole new plan. So I'm not going to reveal it for this, obviously. That'd be dumb. But I'm coming in with fresh eyes and a clean slate. So I feel like everybody should get a clean slate. Anyone else want to join me for a clean slate? Today's the day.
Hey, listen, I think I'm going to be right there with you. I was humbled a little bit. On top of it all, Gitch, who took me out, like 2 days after the fact this morning, I'm just checking my inbox, and he's got a screen cap of the final hand of him dusting me and sending me to the sidelines. So good on him. Totally. But yes, Eagle Eyes, Poppy Pear, very well done. Folks, if you have missed any of the tourneys, you still have 2 chances left to play with us for the summer series. And the top 2 on July 21st and the top 2 on August 5th will get entry into the final for that trip to the Coolbet Open in Estonia in September. And we can confirm for everyone that was asking, August 12th, Wednesday, August 12th is going to be the final, 8 p.m. Shout out to the boys at Coolbet for another amazing contest that allowing us to provide for WST listeners. Clean slate. I don't know. Let's talk about the clean slate at quarterback. I said to the guys, what would be great to be talking about on Monday? A quarterback controversy, or maybe in a couple weeks. Obviously, these two guys are at very different stages in their career. Bombers got their win last week with Elgersma just managing the game. But, Jeff, this is Drew Brown's opportunity to show that he can be an effective winning quarterback in the Canadian Football League. And I would suggest that if the Bombers are going to get that win, he's going to have to have a big game, because we know what Chad Kelly and that Argos offense has been doing all year long.
Yeah, so when you look at the decision to go with Drew Brown, obviously in this case over Taylor Elgersma, as you mentioned, Huss managed a victory for them, and I thought did really well, all things considered, right? I mean, it could have been one of those situations where you let the kid run wild and, it's 2 interceptions and some bad football, and everyone's talking about how, he's not the future anymore. That's just the reality of fandom, right? You kind of take one performance. I know there's a lot of people who wish he, had a little bit of a leash off him there, but that was what they needed to win, and they got the win. What they need this week, Huss, is, as you were alluding to, a gunslinger, right? Somebody who potentially will have to go toe-to-toe with Chad Kelly tonight. And the reality is whatever you think about Chad Kelly, the guy's been balling out. He's coming off his worst game of the season where he didn't eclipse 300 passing yards, some interceptions there. He does lead the league by a wide margin in interceptions, while also leading the league by a fair margin in touchdown passes and yards. This is a guy that will sling it no matter what. I was talking to a couple defensive backs on the Bombers, and they go, there's not a lot of quarterbacks in this league or that we've seen that will, I likened it to a video game. So those are my words, not theirs, but where no matter where you are on the field, Chad Kelly will dial it up twice, right? He'll go deep twice. Often he'll go 2 times in a row because he felt like he should have got that first one. So the Bombers' defense are obviously in tough, and of course, if they can't handle Chad Kelly and the Argos offense, then you're going to need Drew Brown to kind of be the Drew Brown that we've seen the last couple of years in Ottawa, where he's had tons of practice trailing, right, or trying to keep up in games. So it feels like it's trending that way, Huss. This season feels like it's trending that way, and while obviously Drew Brown is the clear choice, it's even more clear when you look at the opponent in front of him here.
Yeah, listen, I'm picking the Bombers tonight, and I just can't wrap my head around a team that has been so dominant at home with the best home advantage in the CFL, falling to 0-3 at Princess Auto Stadium this week. But this is going to be a real test. Like, you could count on one hand the number of times the Bombers have been an underdog at Princess Auto Stadium in the last 5 years. I think it maybe has only happened twice. So it shows that the jury is still very much out on this team. I think at times there was concerns with the way the defense was prepared. I mean, we've seen a couple of ugly first halves, and then things get better. But, when you look back to the Edmonton game, their last loss, like, okay, did Cody Fajardo carve him up on that first drive? Yes. Did the defense step up a few times in the red zone to prevent it from getting worse and keep them in the game? Absolutely. Were they better in the second half? Yep. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get that one more stop at the end of the game. But it was the other side of the football, to me, that really compounded all of that. And when you think about the way the Bombers put the ball on the carpet and turned it over in that game, everything sort of conspired to have them down big, and then it was just playing comeback. Now, listen, I think Drew Brown has the arm that if they do get down 10 points or double digits, I mean, it's not like they have no chance to come back. But I would suggest that if they want to turn their fortunes at home, being ready to play out the opening kickoff is pretty damn important. And that has always been something we've expected from Winnipeg. But unfortunately, this year, Jeff, it's sort of been an issue in a number of games.
Yeah, I mean, it's because if it's not obvious already here, Huss, like this is a different Winnipeg Blue Bombers team than previous years. It's a different team than last year. It's certainly a different team than the team that went to 5 straight Grey Cups. So I don't think there's ever going to be an easy night for this group. Like I don't like the Bombers. Yes, they've obviously become the organization that everyone wants to be from a revenue standpoint, clearly from a gate standpoint, but this is a team that's still very much trying to figure out who they are. And and they've been talking about complementary football, right? Like we're heading into week 6 and they're trying to get complementary football. I heard head coach Mike O'Shea on the coaches show this past Monday talk about the work that needs to get there. And I asked Brady Oliveira about it, and it's because obviously it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like they just go clicking, but it's essentially all 3 phases have to kind of be running, right? Obviously that makes it complementary football, but it's been so inconsistent with this team this year that you'll get a defensive effort that you like one night, an offensive effort you like a different night. Special teams will have their moments. Like Trey Vavel might be, among the best players on the team right now for what he's contributing. So it's all about getting that on the same day. Players will talk about playing 60 minutes. Spoiler alert, it's impossible to play 60 minutes. There's another team. So, but you do need to win more battles than you lose. You need to win takeovers. I think that's a big thing that's affecting the defense here, right? Like, Major Williams has a massive interception, late in that game against the Ticats, and it kind of turns the game on its head a little bit. They need those moments, right? They need to be playing complementary football and all levels need to be executing, because that's who picks up a group who's not doing well in that game for a little bit. If your offense isn't rolling, if you're not getting the start you need, complementary football means the defense get out there and they steal the ball away. Right? Then the offense feels good about themselves. Special teams, joins in on the party. That just hasn't happened in Winnipeg yet, and it's a byproduct of a lot of what we're talking about, but also the number of pieces they've added this year. We talk about the success in those 5 years with the Bombers. That was all about continuity. That was all about hitting the ground running every season. That's why the Bombers would get out to these hot leads, even with teams on paper who didn't look as dominant as maybe, the BC Lions, who picked up some guys in the offseason, or Montreal or whatever. They had continuity because they knew what they were doing. They were able to install things in training camp, be ahead of the game. Here, they're kind of playing, I don't want to say they're playing catch up, but they're trying to catch up to all the moving pieces here, and we just haven't seen that consistency. Will we see it tonight? I guess we'll have to wait and see. It'll be a little bit difficult here with obviously, a new quarterback, another new piece. Even though he's an old new quarterback, he's still going to be new to this group. He's still going to be new to this offense to a certain degree. And the last point on that, Hustins, kind of goes to what you originally started was, the run game, right? Like, I mean, if you want to not get into a shootout with Chad Kelly, then Chad Kelly needs to be on the sideline, and your offense needs to be moving the chains. And if we saw, look at moments like last game where you had Brady Oliveira get 40 something of his not many more rushing yards in that final drive. I mean, I'm not saying that's what you have to start with. Everyone's going to have a lot of energy at the start of the game. They're going to be, all fired up. It's probably not going to be like run the whole time, but those are, when the score warrants it and you're not chasing 2 touchdowns or chasing 10 points or whatever, then you can kind of control the clock a little more. There's a clock, the 35-second clock also takes more time off on things. So you can play with that a little bit. I think there's going to be a bit of process here, because the last thing they want to do, even though we've seen Drew Brown, in his fair amount of shootouts, we don't really, if you're the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you don't really want to get into that. You want to play a little more controlled ball, a little bit more aggressive ball. We'll see what Tommy Condell has in store for this offense after seeing what Brady Oliveira could do last week.
I'm just pulling up the ticket matrix for the game tonight, and there are a few tickets available in the lower bowl. Looks like the upper bowl is completely sold out. We've got about, there's probably 200 or 300 seats available, if that, for the game tonight. So we should be looking at another sellout situation for the Bombers, which is going to be phenomenal. I mean, you couldn't have a much better setup for a summer Friday night game. And to be honest, Jeff, this does feel like a game that is going to be those ones that is going to be very, like, it should be an exciting game. Like, listen, there's a lot on the Bomber defense, and I do think that they should be able to do a better job than maybe some of the other defenses have done against the Argos. But Toronto is going to get theirs. And I mean, when I look at last week's game, there's so much confidence I think you get from the way they ran the ball late when Hamilton knew exactly what was coming and the way they handled the offensive line. And I do well, let me ask you, I mean, how do you think Tommy Condell, who knows Drew Brown very well, who is sort of a gunslinger, operates? Because in my opinion, I think the best way this Bomber team can win tonight is to keep the offense on the field, to use Brady Oliveira, to not need every play be 35 yards, but to efficiently move the chains, keep their defense fresh for Chad Kelly, and keep the Toronto offense off the field. This is a game that everyone's going to need to step up. But from the offensive perspective, do you think they try to add a whole nother dimension that's sort of been missing for the last couple of years in the Bomber passing game? Or is this going to be the Bomber blueprint just simply with Drew Brown instead of Zach Collaros?
I tend to think it's going to be a bit more of the Bombers' blueprint with Drew Brown. The difference being in that equation is that Drew Brown has that, let's call it, it's odd because I think he came later, but it has that Davis Alexander mobility, right? Like that's the thing that I think really put Zach Collaros on a little bit of a, an island like years ago when he was winning MOPs, right? Like Zach wasn't a guy who was going to run up the field like a Trey Ford, but if you were to count his steps behind the line of center, he was, he would be constantly running back and forth, extending plays. I think you get that with Drew Brown. Like, some coaches don't like that. Some coaches don't like, and I'm not calling it Trey Ford-esque, but like some coaches don't want you to go rogue and kind of like they want you to stay within their system, go within your reads. I think Drew Brown is a little bit, and I think that's part of the reason why it didn't work out in Ottawa for him with Ryan Dinwiddie, is I think he is a little more rogue. And I think that Winnipeg appreciates that. I think Winnipeg so I guess my point in that is that the receivers, that chemistry that we're talking about with receivers over the last week, at first it was the playbook. He didn't know all the playbook. Then it was, okay, he needs to build his chemistry with the receivers. I think that's going to be really important in these types of games where, the first few reads don't exactly work out. You have Drew Brown rolling out of the pocket. Drew Wolitarsky made a living out of that, right? With Zach Collaros, he was always that guy who would get open. So I think that element of the offense that I think existed with Zach Collaros and not so much anymore as he's less mobile, I think that will be added to the toolkit. I don't think we're going to be in a situation here where Tommy Condell is licking his lips and rubbing his hands because he's got his quarterback from the last 2 years and he's going to get him to throw 40 plus times. That would only happen if they find themselves in a situation where they're trailing all game, right? I think with Drew Brown, he is that he's got an arm, he's accurate, and he's got that mobility. And so I think the key to this, whether it's incorporating more of the run game, like you saw the success at the end of last week's game, or if it's just finding ways to move the chains, I'm right there with you. It's a big part of the Bombers' success is going to be their ability for the offense to stay on the field. And whether that's running it for a first down or whether that's finding passes, whatever short routes or medium routes to move the ball and to chew up clock, I think that is what we're going to be expecting here from Drew Brown.
Hey, listen, just before we go, I mean, this is a very football-heavy show today. There's a game day. There's not a lot going on, but I know you're very well connected and are staying on top of all of your sources. Give me the temperature. I know it's hot outside. Let's take the temperature on the Hellebuck situation right now from what you're hearing. Is this going to be something that we sort of stand down on for a while and start talking about again later on in August, or is there a lot still going on behind the scenes that you think that we might just be surprised at some point in the middle of the summer?
Yeah, I don't think it's status quo. How could it be status quo when you have, your best player on the market here, seemingly to be on the market? But I do think it kind of moves into a little bit of a wait and see approach here, right? Like all the major milestones and times, whether that was July 1st, all the different, opportunities, the draft to like, that's kind of when your best offers are. That's kind of when, you have pieces you can float. You don't know what your draft picks are. You have plans for your draft picks. But I'm kind of going to maintain where I was in the beginning, and I think that's the same thing. Obviously, there's interest in by Connor Hellebuck to have some new scenery here, go to a different team. That's to me, to everybody, that's abundantly clear. But what I think from the Jets' perspective is we're not giving him away. I'll go back to comments we talked about before. I think the Jets are concerned about what the optics of this trade would be, and that they whether they end up losing it or not in time. I think that obviously matters, but I think for them it matters to what that trade is right away, like what people will be evaluating that trade right away. And it's not just fear of getting ripped off or anything like that. It's also knowing you have an asset here who, if he goes out the door and you don't get the pieces you need to compete, he will be a massive piece of the puzzle to compete. I hear, all these reports and stuff about, I think it's impossible for having him back in the room. Like, that's kind of what the Jets do. Like, they don't get ripped off. They don't make deals that they don't think is going to be valuable for their team. So am I ruling out a trade here between now and training camp in September? Absolutely not. But I would not be surprised whatsoever if we see Connor Hellebuck at training camp and he's told to be a Winnipeg Jet. I'll just go back to the facts, guys. He's got 5 years left on his deal. So he can decide he wants to leave, and that's great. They can have conversations. They can take offers. They might even do their own due diligence and reach out to teams. I don't think they're at that stage yet. They're more in the listening department here, but I think if it comes down to it and they don't get the trade that they want or the players that they feel they need to be successful, Connor Hellebuck's going to be a Winnipeg Jet, and they're going to have a really cool duo with him, and whatever. So this is the big opportunity here to me. It's Connor Hellebuck. He could get traded. He could not get traded. I think we're going to be having this song and dance until something ultimately.
Yeah, it's only happening until it makes sense for the Winnipeg Jets. You keep the AC cranked. Enjoy the game tonight. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll look forward to cranking it up on Tuesday for another edition of CFL 110. This one, great one tomorrow night. We're going to have a lot to talk about next week. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Yeah, always, my friend. What a game last night. It was just derailed, those Ottawa Red Blacks. I don't know where they go from here, but looking forward to chopping it all up next week. And everybody stay cool. It's going to be a hot one this weekend, and I'll see you at the Bomber game tonight.
Thank God I convinced you to go it on the Edmonton side for our CFL 110 parlay.
For sure.
Have a great one, buddy. There's Jeff Hamilton at Jeff K. Hamilton on X, and we'll fire it up again Tuesday morning as we do all CFL season long for the latest in the Canadian Football League on CFL 110. Ed Tate's going to join us in just a minute from the stadium. Folks, I know we've been talking about the World Cup a lot. It's been amazing. We got a game going on actually right now. We'll update you on that one coming up in a few minutes. They've got all the World Cup gear there. They've got the balls, the Canada jerseys, as well as so much merch from teams from around the world. Some great looking stuff as well. You can see this beauty that I'm rocking right here. They've got an incredible selection of Bomber gear as well. So if you are realizing that you're going to the game and you're like, you know what, I'm really negligent on my blue and gold, hit Royal on Pembina on your way to the game or on the weekend. They have so much stock there. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Hats, hoodies. This is like a hoodie, but it's like a light hoodie, almost like something you'd wear fishing or something like that. Anyways, so many different options for you to rep the Blue Bombers at the game and around the city. It's all there. And while you're at it, soccer, softball, baseball, tennis, running, tons of bikes, e-bikes. They've got it all at Royal, 750 Pembina Highway. Make sure to follow them on Instagram as well at Royal Sports Winnipeg for the latest merchandise drops and sale information. We mentioned this busy sports weekend tonight. If you're not lucky enough to have tickets to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the Gold Eyes are in action. It's boy band night. They're kicking off a 3-game homestand with games tonight at 7 o'clock, fireworks after the game. Tomorrow night, Saturday night happy hour, 6 o'clock start for the Fish down at the ballpark. And then family afternoon, 1 o'clock on Sunday, heading into the All-Star break for the American Association. So if you're looking for a great way to spend some time outside, you know they've got a lot of good things to beat the heat at the ballpark as well. Get on down and see the Fish. Goldeyes.com/tickets for this weekend and the rest of the year. And if you missed yesterday's show, great segment with Michael Grajewski from Travel Manitoba on some ways to beat the heat. Definitely check that out if you want a longer conversation. But if you are planning your next adventure for the summer, start with Travel Manitoba. Whether you're searching for road trip inspiration, hidden gems, or the latest festivals and events, everything you need is waiting at travelmanitoba.com. Looking for ideas on the go? Follow along on social media at Travel Manitoba for real-time inspiration, local tips, and can't-miss experiences from across the province. Or if you prefer a personal touch, stop by the Visitor Information Center at the Forks in Winnipeg. And speaking of great things to do around the city and province, coming up on Monday, they're back at the track at the Assiniboia Downs. Now, it's Tuesday and Wednesday every single week, all through the summer into the fall. There are select Mondays, and this Monday is one of them. They've got amazing concession deals on Monday racing, and the Wiener Dogs are coming as well on Monday. So I've already made some plans with a bunch of friends to get out there on Monday night. I would suggest if you got an open Monday, head on down to the track next week. And, of course, we'll have our picks Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here on Winnipeg Sports Talk with myself and Michael Remis. But let's get back to the Bomber game tonight. We head out to Princess Auto Stadium. Ed Tate of BlueBombers.com jumps on the program now. Eddie, ready for a heater tonight in front of another packed house at Princess Auto?
These are the perfect nights, right? Friday night at the ballpark in the summer. It's going to be, I don't know if it's officially a sellout yet, but it's going to be awesome. Look, it's a pretty compelling matchup, too. That's the best place to be on a Friday night in Winnipeg, I think.
You know what, Ed? I'm going to challenge you with a stat. You're the man of many, many stats. This one might not be as readily available, and you may need to talk to a few people. I would love to know what Winnipeg Blue Bomber game had the highest beer sales of all time. Because I would like to suggest that tonight's game, with a full house, the crowds that we've seen, how much fun everyone has, I think this could be a contender.
Well, Huss, I bet that whatever the title is, it was a game that you attended, because I bet you contributed to it.
Listen, I'm just trying to do my part.
I know you are, and I appreciate
organization.
We all appreciate that. That's how this club made $12 million or whatever it was last year. You've got your fingerprints all over that, Huss.
Well, there's certainly a lot of people in the chat, I think, that have contributed as well. But
there you go.
I mean, you got this beautiful game. It's 30 degrees. It's going to be hot out. I mean, I know the Bombers put out, they're going to have hydration stations, like water too, not the traditional hydration stations of Princess Auto Stadium, and it should be a good one. But it really does set up for an awesome night of football. Two teams at 2-2. Both have had some really good moments, frankly, some ugly moments on both sides of the field. And from the Bomber perspective, we're seeing what life looks like with Drew Brown, who just came back a couple weeks ago. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about Elgersma. I thought he was great. I thought he managed the football well. It was clear that the coaches, kept the training wheels on, if you will. But they relied on the offensive line. They relied on Brady Oliveira, and they got the job done. And this team knows how to win football games in many different ways. I would suggest, though, it will be a very different way they'll have to win tonight, because we do know that the defense needs to be ready to go and have maybe their best game of the season. But this Chad Kelly-led Argo offense with that crazy group of receivers they have are going to get theirs. And this is going to be a game where the offense is going to have to do their part in a big way, I think, if they want to win and get their first win at home of the season, which is another kind of crazy stat we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like last week, I would have said was going to be a track meet too. And then the quarterback situation, both teams changed that game. And I'm glad you look at it that way, Huss, about what happened with Winnipeg and how Taylor Elgersma played, because I got a lot of feedback from people on social media and just fans saying, boy, Elgersma didn't look that good. Well, wait a minute here. He came in cold. He gets the W, throws a touchdown pass, took one sack, didn't throw an interception. And for as much as people in the offseason were saying, why didn't the Bombers go after Trey Ford, or why didn't they
Did we lose him? Maybe you lost him there.
Bring back Jake Dolagala with Drew Brown, and if that can make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, there is the added benefit of the fact that Drew Brown has been with Tommy Condell for the last couple of years, and I think that the play. Oh, Ed's having Eddie, pop. You got me back in. Great now. I mean, there is the familiarity with Tommy Condell and his playbook, which obviously I think is, the reason why you can get a guy 2 weeks ago and have him ready to start. There's always so much work going into it. But the way I look at this game, and I don't know whether you do it differently, I think the Bombers need to build on that fourth quarter. And I think it really does start. As much as we're going to be talking about the fantasy numbers of all these guys, it starts on the line of scrimmage. And if the Winnipeg Blue Bombers can establish Brady Oliveira behind that offensive line, if the Bombers can continue to basically keep Chad Kelly off the field and keep the defense fresh, they'll be in a real good spot to win the football game. We're having a bit of a connection problem with Ed today. I'm not sure. He was in, he was out. Peg City Scott said he got it. While we see if we can get Eddie back, let's go to let's hear from Drew Brown. This is Drew Brown on how he's feeling going into his first start back in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's really all I feel is excitement. So.
Will there be nerves, or are there always?
Yeah, I think there's always a little bit of that. I don't know if it's like nervousness, but just butterflies, excitement. I never necessarily got to start a game here. I always would come in relief. So
okay, you did start. Okay.
Not at home, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. How much of a handle do you feel you have on this offense compared to if you were in season 2 with it or something?
No, I feel pretty comfortable. A lot of it's similar. There's some nuances that are a little different, but those were kind of addressed through the prep and feel good about it.
All right, so there's tonight's starter, Drew Brown. We've got Eddie back, and Ed, I was just saying before we lost you there, a balanced offense, a winning time of possession, keeping Chad Kelly off the field, keeping the defense fresh. As much as we can think, and you look at these teams and what Drew Brown's done in the past, and go, okay, it's time to just unleash the beast and, win a shootout. To me, I think a well-rounded Bomber performance puts them in a much better position to do what they're coming to do tonight, and that's to get their first win at home.
Yeah, apologies for my connection here, Huss. What you were touching on before I lost you there was pretty important, I thought, about the, kind of getting back to the bully ball that this club made famous for the last little while, and the way they pounded the ball in that last drive. And so that's kind of one of the subsections or subplots to tonight's game that's interesting, is because they've made changes again to the interior of their offensive line, bringing back Gabe Wallace. Micah Mizuka started there last week. They've had changes at the other guard spot with Pat Neufeld in and out. They've had 2 different starting centers this year. So I really think they've got to get the interior of their O-line settled. And when you do that, then you can pound the ball with Brady. But to your point, this team is still kind of evolving. There's a lot more new faces than I think people think. And so you are going to need a 3-phase game tonight. You're going to need maybe some magic from Trey Vavel on special teams, Sergio to do his thing, Jamison Sheehan for the field position game. But, you mentioned Chad Kelly off the top. The way those guys are throwing it around, it's pretty scary. He's got 12 touchdowns already and likes to throw it deep, but he's also got 8 interceptions. So I think of a couple of mistakes last week where Winnipeg didn't, pick off a Bo Levi Mitchell once, and there was a Jake Dolagala throw that could have sealed the game if Dietrich Nichols could have squeezed it. Those are the kind of plays that you need your defense to step up on. And I know Major Williams had that pick late that was critical, but if you're going to beat the Argos, and it might be a track meet, then you're going to need some other teams, some other aspects of this team to step up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'd love to see the Blue Bombers be able to go on some long drives and put up points 100%. And keep the defense fresh, give them the best chance to put their best foot forward against that Chad Kelly offense, and limit simply the number of opportunities that the Argos are getting. So it is going to be a big challenge for Jordan Younger's group. And they've had a couple of less than stellar starts. Certainly, I think the start for the entire team. Bombers got to take care of the football better than the offense did in the first half against Edmonton, but also this defense come out to play. Fill us in on how the defense is looking tonight and just your thoughts of the challenge that they're going up against this Argo attack.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the defense and their play through 4 games kind of mirrors the whole team. I think this team is better than a 2-2 squad. At least it looks like that on paper. Jake Serezna has been a big addition. I think Jonathan Moxey's been a good corner. Major Williams, I mentioned him earlier. He's been solid at the other corner. I know teams have been trying to attack him, but he's been up to the challenge. You add Evan Holm and Reddick Cramdy, Nichols, Tony Jones. Those are good players. Willie Jefferson. So I think that this defense needs to step up. You're right. And I think if they can get Chad Kelly under control and get him off the field a few times, that'll really be important. This is a funny team right now. That's what, again, this is kind of a game, even with Drew Brown at the controls. We need to see this team take the next step. I think they're far better than a 500 football club, but that's certainly what they've looked like through the first 4 games.
Well, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a hot one tonight, folks. Mix it in a water or two. Get there early and get ready to get loud. The defense will need it, and hopefully, talking about a 3-2 team going into what could be a pretty juicy revenge game for the starting quarterback next week, assuming Drew gets the start there as well. Ed, thanks for doing this. Just fill people in quickly on what's over at bluebombers.com if they want more to get ready for kickoff tonight.
Well, we got our usual collection of stuff. We got our social media team. It's doing their thing. We got the best group in the league. And it'll be just fun. Make sure you check out our stuff. We've got our game day -1. Our huddle didn't have the huddle this week because of the short week. Our podcast, all kinds of stuff to keep all kinds of fans healthy and happy on our website. Remember hydration breaks tonight, Huts. You know what that means, right? Get to the Rum Hut, get to the Jim Beam social area, get your hydration breaks. Wouldn't that be cool if England versus Norway tomorrow, a guy ran to the sidelines and chugged a big beer as part of the hydration break? I'd watch that.
I don't know if the players will be, but I guarantee you, though, rowdies from Norway and England will be doing their fair share, as will Bomber fans tonight. It's going to be a real fun one. Eddie, good luck to the squad tonight. Thanks for doing this. Thanks, fellas. See you later. Sorry about the connection problems. All good, dude. All good. There is Ed Tate from bluebombers.com. All right, let's just get a little bit more Drew Brown. We will have Kyle Steeves jump on for a few minutes, and then we'll get to marbles. But this is Drew Brown on, if he feels that there's extra pressure on the offense going up against this high-powered Argo attack led by Chad Kelly.
I mean, I think that we always talk about just scoring one more point than the other team. But as much as we try to just execute what we're doing on that specific play, that's kind of where our focus is. If we look too much at the bigger picture, sometimes, we forget where we're at.
Tim White was telling me, though, that 14 is probably not going to do it tomorrow. Would you agree?
Yeah, probably.
All right, here's just one more from Brown. And he's been gone for a little while. Here's Brown on how he feels he's refined his game since his time away from the Bombers.
Yeah, so I think when I was here, the system was a little bit more, the quarterback got on the edge quite a bit, and not necessarily drop back centric where you're just throwing from the pocket all the time. And then going to Ottawa, obviously, I was dropping back quite a bit and having to make decisions quickly from, kind of the center of the pocket, just more than I would have here.
All right, so there's Drew Brown. We'll get a chance to see him in charge of the offense tonight. Now, part of starting Drew Brown was breaking some bad news to Taylor Elgersma, who did what he was asked to do on Sunday in holding it down and getting the win against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Here's Coach Mike O'Shea, on breaking the news to Elgersma that he was going to go with Drew Brown.
With that room, it's excellent. There's no massaging needed. Taylor's, I don't know how old he is, honestly. I don't look at that. He's 24. Well, he is a pro beyond that age. well beyond that age. So, yep, you can see it in his face. He wants opportunities, but he wants to be a great teammate, and he wants to help, and he knows the room is good, and he knows he can learn. He recognizes the opportunities he's going to have just to be in that room. But every competitor, especially at that position, wants the chance to have the ball in their hands. But he is very, I'd not say old, but he is. I think he's a little more old school, and he seems like he's a pro already.
All right, so there is Coach O'Shea. Let's hear from Brady Oliveira. Brady and the offense is going to have their hands full tonight because they're going to be counted on to score some points, knowing what's on the other side. Here's Brady on going up against that Argos offense on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I'm expecting, obviously, it's a really good offense. Chad Kelly and his receiving core, they go out there and they light it up, right? They score a lot of points. So, obviously defense has to go out there and do what they do. I think what I'm most excited for is this game is if we can go out there and play complementary football, full 3 phases. When one phase is down, can the other phase lift them up, right? Can special teams go out there, and if offense is struggling a bit, go out there and get a big return, and defense go out there, stop and give offense back the ball. So whatever the outcome of the game is going to be, however many points are scored, I think if we can go out there and play a full 60 and 3-phase football, I think we'll be all right at the end of it.
All right, there's Brady Oliveira. We'll just touch on the Coolbet lines in a few minutes, but we're going to we'll open up marbles in just a moment, so you can pay attention to that. I think it is open already, so throw that in there. We'll listen to Kyle Steeves, and then we'll come back. We'll spin the wheel for the Bomber tickets. We'll do Coolbet lines, and then we will get into marbles. Before we do that, though, I do want to thank our friends at Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge for their support. Man, it's been an amazing fishing season so far. And if you are thinking about a fly-in fishing experience where you can be on the water in less than a couple hours from the city of Winnipeg, Aikens Lake is the spot with world-class fishing and even more world-class hospitality from the Terren family and the Aikens team. Go to aikenslake.com for more information on all your options, as well as availability for the remainder of this year and now booking well into 2027 at aikenslake.com. And make sure to follow them and check out everything coming out of the water on their socials at Aikens Lake. Breezy Bend golf report for our friends at Breezy Bend is looking good for us and Patty with our Sunday Sweat Club. How about my guy Tom Kim, who we got a piece of at 66-1 this week? He is tied for the lead at 9 under par with Jordan Smith and world number 2 Rory McIlroy. The shocking part of this is that Scotty Scheffler missed the cut at the Scottish Open. Hadn't happened in, I believe, 78 tournaments. So a crazy stat that since when Scotty Scheffler last missed a cut on the PGA Tour, Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz had 0 Grand Slams. He missed it today. They now have 11 combined, and Sinner might get another one on the weekend. It's been a minute. Matt Fitzpatrick at 8 along with Min-Woo Lee. Our guy Bobby Mack is 7 under. He's tied for 6th, along with Chris Gotterup. So our 3 guys for our almost 20-1 Sunday Sweat Club parlay, we need them top 20, are all tied for 6th or better. Hopefully they can keep it going. And man, it would be nice if Tom Kim could get in the winner's circle as well. There's your Breezy Bend golf report for what's happening on the PGA Tour Open Championship next week. And of course, if you're thinking about a great long-term home for you and your family at one of Winnipeg's top private courses, check out Breezy Bend. You can go online to breezybend.ca or give a call to 895-7205. Ask for our pal Corey Johnson. Would love to tell you all about everything going on at Breezy Bend. All right, Kyle Steeves coming up. National rugby team in Winnipeg next Saturday, taking on Zimbabwe. What a cool event this is going to be. And we've got one of our own on the team, St. Paul's native Kyle Steeves. He's going to join us in just a minute. First up, though, it's hot. It's the weekend. It's the summer. That calls for a big cheers to our friends at Winnipeg's favorite local brewery, Little Brown Jug.
You train day in and day out, learning new techniques, approaching new concepts, and living out the thrill of achieving your goals. Building a craft beer is no different. While you spend your hours on the ice, we spend ours here, brewing our trademark beer. Again, again, and again. Here's to pushing the status quo and challenging ourselves to build something memorable. 1919 by Little Brown Jug.
July 18th, International Rugby as part of the Nations Cup right here in Winnipeg at Princess Auto Stadium. And it is going to be a homecoming for the lone Manitoban on Canada's national rugby team, Kyle Steeves, who joins us now on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Kyle, great to have you back here in the Peg on Winnipeg Sports Talk. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to being back home again. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Listen, I mean, rugby is one of those sports where, a lot of people have tried it, but, in Canada, or at least Winnipeg, it's not, one of the main sports. I got to ask, how does a kid from St. Vital in Winnipeg end up on the national team?
So I have two older siblings, older brother, older sister, and both of them played rugby in high school. And so when I was kind of growing up, I went to some of their games. I just thought this looks like the coolest thing ever. So I wanted to give it a try. Went out and watched their games, and then as soon as I started playing, I just wanted to get as much as I possibly could. So every opportunity, St. Paul's while I was there, or the Manitoba team, or the Wombats, or my local club back home. So shout out to them. But any opportunity I had, I would take it. And then basically, opportunities started rolling around the corner, and I got an opportunity to go to a couple of national team camps here and there, and then eventually just moved out to BC to play as much as I could. And then, just sort of got my shot from there. So I was playing with a couple of different clubs out in BC. I played James Bay. I played with the Tait, which is like a island rep team. Got called up for Canada. I played with the Pacific Pride as well. They're the Canadian Academy. Got my call up to Canada, and then received my first cap in 2022 against Namibia. So that's kind of where it all started, and then it just grew from there. So
you mentioned St. Paul's. They've got just an incredible athletic program at that school. Big football program as well. Did you double dip? Were you playing rugby and football? And what was it about rugby that kind of made that your choice moving forward?
So I played, so grade 9, I did wrestling and rugby. Those were the two mains for me. And then 10 and 11, I did football in the middle as well. Wasn't for me. There was too many pads involved, too much stuff in the way. So I did football in grade 12 and then just played rugby again. And I think I'm kind of glad I did, kind of stuck with it. So, but
no doubt. Listen, to get to this height and, to be representing Canada on a world stage, listen, there's not a lot of people from where we're from that follow this path. At what point was I might be able to wear the red and white of Canada on a world stage? At what point did the national team, was that even on your radar?
To be honest, I didn't know there was professional rugby until I graduated high school. I remember playing, and then at some point someone was like, "Hey, this could be an opportunity. You should try and play more." And I have, one of my first rugby coaches, Elias Feeblecorn, is probably the guy who pushed me the most to be like, "You should go play somewhere else, go figure it out, try and play as much as you possibly can. There's opportunities in this sport." And so he pushed me a lot. And when I moved out to BC and things started kind of rolling very, very rapidly in that direction, it just sort of hit me. It's like, well, this is a cool opportunity. I might be able to do something big here. So I think that's definitely when things started clicking.
Now, outside of the national team, you mentioned that you have been playing professional. Give us a little bit of an idea about the path that the sport's taken you on for a number of years before the homecoming next weekend.
Yeah, so 2022, I signed my first contract in the MLR with Dallas, the Dallas Jackals. That team doesn't even exist anymore, but I played there for 2 seasons, and it was an unreal experience. And then last year, 2025, I was playing in Boston with the New England Free Jacks, and we won the MLR Shield, which was really cool. So that was an awesome experience to have that. And then from there, I just changed it up. So I went down to Sydney, Australia, or Newcastle, sorry, just north of Sydney. And I was playing with the Hunter Wildfires. So that's this club right here. And yeah, it's pretty incredible the places that rugby's taken me just around the world. Like I've seen so many different places. Like I've been to 3-4 different continents now with rugby, just traveling, playing, getting paid to play on a field and play a game that I love, which is pretty amazing. And I think it's not said enough, the amount of opportunities that are in rugby, especially for kids in Manitoba. Like when I was growing up, I didn't know that these things were possible, that someone was going to pay for me to travel across the world and play rugby, a game that I love. And that's super awesome. So yeah, it's fantastic.
There's, obviously we've got Emily, from the province on the women's team who joined us from England as they had that incredible run at the Women's World Cup last year. But it has really grown at a grassroots level, and not just for young boys. I mean, the women's program is big, and we're actually really seeing that across the country. I mean, I remember during the Olympics how captivated we were with the rugby sevens and watching our women's team get into that, and just how lightning fast and exciting it was. Very different from the 15-man game that we're going to be seeing here. But for you, I mean, you mentioned that this sport has taken you all around the world. You must just be incredibly excited to get back here to your hometown of Winnipeg and have a chance to put on that Canada jersey in front of friends, family, and rugby fans in Winnipeg on July 18th.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been lucky enough to have my family come and support me in a couple of the games that I played in. So last year they came out and watched the games that we had in Calgary and Edmonton, which was amazing. But I have heaps of family. All my family's in Winnipeg, and so when I get back and if I'm able to play and put on the jersey in Princess Auto Stadium, then I'm really looking forward to having them all there and cheer me on. And yeah, I think it's just going to be a pretty surreal experience to kind of go back and have everyone around me there and get to show them all the work that I've put in and all the stuff that the team's doing as well, it's going to be amazing.
Well, we got a massive international doubleheader on July 18th at Princess Auto Stadium. 3:45, Tonga plays Portugal. You guys are actually taking on the Portuguese this weekend in advance of that. And then the main event, Canada versus Zimbabwe at 7 p.m. One ticket gets you into both games, so you can go and watch all 4 teams, all the great rugby action. Like, this is part of the World Rugby Nations Cup. Explain to people that aren't familiar with how it all works, what this competition is and why it's so important for you and the Canadian team.
So the Nations Cup is actually a new thing that's going on this year, and it's basically just a big lead up into the World Cup that's happening next year in Australia. And so it's basically just a good opportunity for nations that are around similar rankings, I suppose, to go up against each other and just show some good competition, build up towards the big competition next year. And so, yeah, we're getting heaps of games in this year. We just played Spain, we got Portugal, we got Zimbabwe, and then later on in the year, we play a whole host of other teams as well that are around our ranking. So Tonga's in there as well. I forget a couple of the other teams that are in there, but it's an amazing competition, and it's just lots of really good rugby to look forward to. So
I imagine the dream, the goal is to be on the squad, be in the World Cup, and maybe follow the success of the girls and what they did last year in England on that incredible run.
Yeah, absolutely. Try and bottle some of that and follow that. So we'll see. The boys are working hard. Training's been going really, really well. Everyone's looking awesome. So I think we have a really good chance.
Just for folks that maybe have seen a little bit of it on television but don't understand it as much, I mean, if you get a ticket for this event and you come out to see you and the fellas putting the red on, what awaits them at Princess Auto Stadium for some world-class international rugby here in Winnipeg?
A lot of excitement, a lot of fast-moving parts. There's, you get all the heavy hits, you get the scrums, you get the lineouts, a lot of strategy. Just like incredible athletes. Some of the guys you'll see on the field just do some things that blow your mind. Like some of the kicks that they pull off, some of the little chip and chase, all that stuff. It's amazing. So rugby, I think, live is one of the best sports to watch.
What's up for you after the Nations Cup? I mean, at what point are you with your professional team? And at what point are you with the national team?
So right now, basically from here till the end of the season, till about
Kyle Steeves, I imagine a lot of St. Vital is going to be rolling into a Princess Auto Stadium to see you. Probably a lot of St. Paul's alumni. But the bottom line is, if you are interested in rugby and want to see it played at a world-class level, this is going to be your opportunity to do it live in Winnipeg. Just a quick thought, just on the tournament, you got Portugal this week and then this matchup against Zimbabwe. Familiar with these teams, and how are you and the fellas feeling going into kind of the next 10 days with these two big international matches?
Personally, I don't have any experience with Portugal or Zimbabwe, but the team, we have an amazing group of staff and players who do have experience with them. So they're doing all their hard work, sort of analyzing the other teams, doing all this stuff. So it helps you just feel so prepared going into it when you put in all the groundwork beforehand. But yeah, I think everyone's feeling ready. We're excited for the opportunity to go out and play, and it's gonna be a couple of really good games, I think, and we look really sharp. So I'm excited.
7:00 is Canada, Zimbabwe. Before that, Tonga, Portugal, 3:45 Saturday, July 18th, smack dab in the middle of a Manitoba summer. Could it be any better? Kyle, listen, good luck this weekend. I hope the entire week is a dream for you, getting a chance to see everyone and getting a big victory in front of the home fans at Princess Auto Stadium. Continued success to you and the squad, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday, July 18th at Princess Auto Stadium.
Amazing. Thanks so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right. That was awesome. Good luck to the fellas in Edmonton tomorrow. And then next Saturday, that is going to be very cool. And again, we've got a pair of tickets to give away. So if you want to go check out some world-class international rugby here at Princess Auto Stadium, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. Speaking of contests, we got to give those Bomber tickets away. We will do that in just a moment. I will tell you that Spain has surrendered their first goal of the tournament. It is 1-1, Spain and Belgium. I didn't catch where this game is being played, but it is at halftime. And they're going to the second 45 shortly, that one on TSN. We'll just quickly tee up the cool bet lines for tonight. Well, here, just while we're talking World Cup, we may as well hit the two lines for tomorrow. Norway, England, 4:00. I urge you, get your ass in front of a television set for that one. It will be phenomenal. Erling Haaland, Harry Kane. England's minus 105 to win in regulation. Disrespectful number to the Norwegians, I think. Draw plus 275, Norway plus 315. England to qualify, meaning to move on, whether it's penalties, in any way. England to move on, minus 185, Norway plus 160. I got a soft spot for the Norwegians. We'll be getting a piece of that. Argentina, minus 139 favorite against the Swiss. Switzerland 5-1, draw plus 265 on the 90-minute line. Argentina minus 323 to qualify. Switzerland plus 270. And I see the Norway numbers dropped slightly from 16-1 yesterday to plus 1550. McGregor and Holloway, we got the tip from Aaron Bronstetter yesterday that this is huge value, not on the plus money underdog, but on the favorite, Max Holloway. Remis and I have put Max Holloway on a number of different parlays just to boost it up a bit. Aaron Bronstetter said he thought Holloway should have been a -7 or -800 favorite. So we take Aaron's advice. We're going to ride with that. But let's get to tonight's action in the Canadian Football League. The Bombers are a home underdog. You don't say that very often. Bombers now getting 2 points in tonight's game against the Toronto Argonauts. On the money line, you want to bet the Bombers just to win, plus 120. Argos minus 145. And the total for this game is now over 60.5. They're expecting some points this evening at Princess Auto Stadium. Other games this week in the Canadian Football League. Alouettes, 3.5-point favorites at home against Calgary. If you're with us on the CFL 110 parlay I did with Jeff, we got one in already with Edmonton last night. We need Calgary to lose by 3 or less or win. And then, as I said all week, Riders minus 8.5. You cannot make a line high enough that I wouldn't be back in Saskatchewan this week. But check this out. We got some excellent Blue Bomber exclusives for tonight. And I was just saying to Remis off air, what do you think about this? You can't handle the Druth. Drew Brown, 250 or more passing yards, 2 passing TDs, and a Blue Bomber win, plus 280. Sign me up for that, and I think you already signed up for that one too, Reem.
Yes, I had Drew Brown over his regular over. I think it was like 278. So I was there. I mean, just look at what Vernon Adams did last week. The Argos on the road again. Bombers at home. I do like Drew Brown in this one, so I did like that parlay. I mean, you think Oliveira gets in as well and Bombers win, that one's not bad. So this is some nice, exclusives.
The other one, I think that was the one that I loved the most, the plus 280 on Drew, 250 plus 2 touchdowns and a Bomber win. We've also got hometown heroes, Brady Oliveira and Nick Dembski, both to score a touchdown and the Bombers to win. That one's plus 675. And then the Bomber boost, Drew Brown to pass for a touchdown, Dembski 50 or more receiving yards, and Bombers plus 4.5. That one is plus 140. And we won't spend any time on the Swag Kelly parlay, but Chad Kelly to get 2 touchdowns, a rush, a receiving touchdown, and Toronto to win is plus 375. Tons of great stuff in the exclusives. They've got a boosted number on McGregor if you want to bet Connor to win. He's plus 215. Harry Kane, super boost, plus 750 to score twice. Messi to score versus Switzerland's boosted to plus 110. And, and this one, Brady Oliveira to score a touchdown and the Bombers to win, plus 230. I love that one as well. So some great Bomber options in the exclusives. Before tonight's game, it's all there. We got a big weekend for Coolbet. Our parlays for the football are looking good. We're in on the soccer. And as I mentioned earlier on the Breezy Bend Golf Report, Patty and I have the Sunday Sweat Club looking excellent. Still halfway to go, but Tom Kim's tied for first. Goddard and Bobby Mack are tied for sixth. We need those 3 guys all in the top 20. So hopefully the floor doesn't fall out on either of those 3, and we'll be cashing another ticket. If you haven't played a Coolbet before, use the promo code WST on your first deposit. Bonus you up to $200, 100% on that first deposit. And do not forget, 2 more chances to qualify for the Coolbet Open Final. July 21st, August 5th, 8 p.m. will be our next 2 poker tourneys, and the top 2 from each of those will get tickets for the final. The final is officially set for Wednesday, August 12th. Good luck, and we'll see you there. All right, let's get Remo back in here now. Remo, we got 2 things to do. We got marbles coming up in a moment, but before that, who's going to the Bomber game tonight? Let's fire up this wheel and make somebody's weekend.
Okay, we got it here. I put everyone's name. Some people got multiple entries for following us on social media or subscribing to our newsletter. So make sure you are doing that to keep up to date with everything Winnipeg Sports Talk. Hitting the wheel as I grabbed all the names.
Thanks again to Devontae, who dropped the tickets off for somebody.
There it is. Dwayne Krellin. I'll send it right away.
Enjoy the game tonight. Right after the show, we'll fire off the tickets. Get your butt in that seat. Get some blue on. Get a couple waters in you. And let's see the Bombers' first win of the year on home ice. 1-1. It is. Thanks to Devontae and congratulations to Dwayne Krellin for those tickets. All right, it is Friday afternoon, everybody. We got a Bomber game tonight. We got a Heat Dome over us in Winnipeg. There's only one thing to do before you get into your pregame festivities, before we crack a cold one from Little Brown Jug. We got to do some marbles. And before marbles, that means Tristan Rivers music. So, Remo, give us the theme song and let's get the show on the road with some marbles on WST.
It's Friday!
All right, marbles time to finish up the week on WST. Remo, where are we going today?
Okay, I tested a good one. It's called Feel the Cannon, and it's just loading. And before we get into that, I do think we should give a shout out to Rick Delane, who's driving the WST car with soda modified. He's off to a great start. Now, he won the feature on Saturday at the Dead Horse Creek Speedway, got second on the Friday. And here at Victory Lane has his last 3 races, including last night at Victory Lane Speedway, second in the feature race. So he's driving the WST car. We were at his golf tournament earlier, so check him out on Instagram, Rick Delane Racing, and he's off to a great start. So I think we're doing our marble race. We need to give a shout out to Rick Huss because he's representing WST out at the track, and there he is from last weekend at Dead Horse Speedway.
Look at our whip, the beautiful WST logo on the front of Rick's championship ride. We'll have to get him on later on going into those biggest. Look at how good that car looks. We added the pink this year outside the logo. It looks great, and there he is with the checkered flag. Shout out to Rick Delane, our guy in the WST car. I'll have to get out to Victory Lanes one of these days this year. I think they go Thursday nights. All right, Reem, so can you throw me in, and I think we should maybe give Taylor Elgersma a marble for his first win and Drew Brown a good luck marble for his first start.
Oh, I thought you were going to say put in the entire Tom Dundon and family into the swim. I thought that's
Dax
what
Dundon?
Yeah.
Marble for Dax Dundon? No, Dax Dundon, none of you get marbles.
The Stanley Cup champion Dundon family, all of them. So that's like 7 marbles on the list. But I'll put you in and Taylor Elgersma. We do have, as I close the entries, Andrew Brown. Okay, we have 178 today. So people are coming out on a summer day. I don't know where they are on the beach. I do see some people at Folkfest currently in the chat. I saw Wayne Gretzky
Who's at
there.
Folkfest?
Wayne Gretzky's there.
Yeah, Gretzky's at now. Is he coming? Is he going to the game?
Oh,
or is he actually missing a game? Like, what do you mean? We got to have the big hat and the no shirt. And I'm in the North End tonight, by the way. Shout out Scott Westman. We're going to be hanging with Scott and the rest of the crew. And for those of you, the WST parlay is live. Okay, it's just while you get this up, I did send this one in. Check this one out, gang. This was my thoughts for tonight's game. Drew Brown, let me just see here. Yeah, here we are. It's the ride with Huss. Drew Brown, 275 passing yards or more.
Okay.
And then Brady Oliveira, 120 combined rushing and receiving yards. And the Bombers to win. It's over 10-1. Plus 1050. listen, I think Drew Brown's going to have to throw a lot. So, I mean, you had mentioned you like the over on his number. I think it's 274.5. The thing with Brady is that I think and this goes back to our conversation with Ben Grant yesterday. They're missing that middle linebacker. He kind of focused on, and the guy's name I forget that's going to be in there, a real challenge on handling Brady out of the backfield. And we know Tommy Condell likes to throw. We know Mike O'Shea likes to get the ball into his best player's hands. So I wouldn't be surprised that Brady's rushing total at 80. Like, I could see him finishing at, 70 yards on the ground and like 50 or 60 on through the air. So I'm looking for a big game for Brady. It doesn't matter whether he's catching it or whether he's running it. So if you want to ride with me on that, they've just added that in the exclusives over at CoolBet. Underneath all those other great Bomber ones that we talked about, the ride with Huss, Brown 275 plus in the air, Brady 120 combined, rushing and receiving, and the Bombers to win plus 1050. I am fired up. Love it, love it, love it. All right, Remo, let's do this.
Yes, now we're good. We've done the theme song. We've gone all over the props. Where's my thing? It's launching. I don't know what happened to it. Let me try this one more time. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just having a quick issue here as we launch.
Well, while Remis does that, I'll do an opening.
Oh, what do you got?
McDonald's World Cup Cup. I've got all my... I'm really loving the World Cup. I've been loving McDonald's for a long time. I've been getting these cups, but I haven't been opening them all. Maybe I'll be eBay guy and sell mystery cups after the fact. Not this one, though. Let's see. Now, so far in my collection, I have Son, I have Ronaldinho, I have Thierry Henry, and then the newest edition is the Alphonso Davies.
Oh, man, that's sick.
Yeah, the Davies one is awesome. And I think the Davies one is probably, I think that's a Canada only. Like, I don't think you can get those in the States because this is a worldwide promo. So we'll see. But anyways, let's see what it is today. This one is, another Son. This one is cool. Very cool. And he's doing his thing. Jeez, I don't know whether you can see
here,
that.
let me take off
There
something.
it is. See that thing where that's his sign. That's what he does when he scores.
What country is that?
Makes a little box with his fingers. Yeah, he's Korean. He was a stud for, I believe, Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur. Soccer guys can correct me in the chat. Total star in the Premier League. And I believe he just finished up in the Premier League and he's now in the MLS somewhere. So there's Son. Remo, I'm going to open up one more of these and hopefully you can be ready to go with the marbles.
Yeah, we're good. I got my mouse working.
Next one is, Lamine Yamal. There we go.
Oh.
Lamine Yamal, I needed that one. And by the way, we're talking about Lamine Yamal. You can see he's got the braces on. He was the star of the Euros for Spain and was only 16 years old. If you're following CoolBet on X, the Patty on the Pitch exclusive, they've been doing a face swap with all the top players. And they've been hilarious. For the Ronaldo one, they did the face swap on the ridiculous Ronaldo statue with Pat. But today's one is outrageous. It's the face swap with Lamine Yamal, and it includes Patty with the braces. So if you want a good laugh, just go to the CoolBet X account. Obviously, that one's already in play. It's still 1-1. All right, Remo. Well, I've got a couple cups. You never know what might go in these this weekend. Let's fire up the marbles and get the weekend started.
Yes, I've already played the song. We've got the track. Feel the cannon. Watch out. The ending, there's like a multiple different, it's like choose your own adventure. So someone may take the shortcut, someone may take the long way. So you got to keep your eye out for the ending.
I'm here for it. The marbles are dropping on a Friday afternoon on WST. Big weekend. CFL. Sea Bears at home on Sunday afternoon. Gold Eyes at home on Sunday afternoon. Gold Eyes tomorrow night. And tonight, boy band night at the ballpark, Bombers Argos at Princess Auto Stadium. It's hot as hell outside. We're here for it. There will be no complaining about the heat considering what we go through all winter long. Just make sure that you stay hydrated, as they say. All right, who's coming out first? Oh, look at this. Royal Sports Winnipeg with the lead. Royal, I don't believe, has ever won. And shout out to the Hasbeeks, Greg and Gerald. Ripped out and met the fellas last night at BP Taylor, where we watched the Royal Sports Warranty is out. Where we had a few cold ones and watched the second half of France's win, and then had a good time. Jesse P, 33. Could that be Pelch?
Maybe.
Cole Sawchuk is out. Trevor Frost is out. But here's Greg from Royal Sports. Royal Sports Greg. The guy on the warranty side did not last this long, but could he win for the first time? He's been in many times, has never won. K. Berg, though, with some nice negotiation of that. We got Elias McCracken. We got T. Witch in the mix. K. Berg, Royal Sports Greg, Mike Cochran, Winnipeg. By the way, Mike had a nice run in the poker the other day. Mike, we'll see you hopefully on the 21st. Al Broderick. What's up, Al? Al did a great work with all those photos from our last night out with the gang for the Gold Eyes. And Mike Cochran, just with a big, big push. He went through. Gary Labossiere, Blackie 01, and Al Broderick just with a big move. Now here is, I think we're going to be ending up going in one way or another. Everyone's in a different one. Daryl M is in first. Wow. Daryl just came through the middle and beat everyone. Nicely done to Daryl M, WPG. That's now I see what you're saying about the choose your own adventure. I mean,
yeah.
If you go on the side, it was a little bit of a longer ride, and then whoever came in down the middle was getting it in. But Daryl M, Winnipeg, the winner today on WST with some Friday afternoon marbles. Now, Blackie O is 2. Al Broderick, strong performance today. He was in third. K. Berg, Tony Pop, Gary Labossiere, Bruce H, 2589 7th, T. Wish, Donnie Boy. What's up, Donnie? And 10-second pause. 10-second pause, that might be a new one. I don't think I've seen that one before. Welcome. Congratulations on a top 10 finish. Let's see what we got for the rest of the crew. All right, there, the font's a little bit better. Oh, look at that. It's your boy Bruce, 12. Bob McCullough, WST Matty in there. Tedward Bear getting in the top 20. Uncle Dizzo at 21. Tough finish for Greg. Royal Sports Greg was right there, and then he wasn't. 27th, right behind VR Montenegro, repping the EST. See, there's Phyllis. There's Wayne Bretsky. Enjoy. T. Will. Duck Dad, another ESTer. Matt Hyman. So many of the regulars. Mr. V-Dub. Vinny Toba. Love that name, Vinny Toba. Darth Skater's there. Casino Dealer Day. Gintelligence. Who else is in there? Tyson 204. Tyson, I know he'll be at the game tonight. He's not at Folk Fest. A hustler. Okay, well, I did finish 125. I got in. Oh, yes, and I got you, Bozeman. I got you. He was 141. Bailey, the intern. What's up, Bailey? Yeah, Bailey, school's out. You'll be able to do these for the next couple months. It's going to be awesome. So, Reem, you're going to load up the bikes for the game tonight, huh?
Oh, yeah. I am pumped. I'm trying to figure out what to wear. If I wear... it's going to be hot. I don't know if I'm going to wear a jersey or not. I wore my number 0 Cam Allen jersey last game that I have. So.
You should, if you just wear the jersey...
Yeah, it's nice.
Just that, I think you'll be good.
I like to wear a shirt under. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I can pull it off. I guess you get the breeze.
Big undershirt guy.
Apparently.
Do you wear the tank, like just the beaters, or do you wear?
I've never worn a beater in my life. Actually, like people used to love them, like in the summer, like growing up. But I never was a beater guy. I could never.
I will be honest. I've never done that. I've never been a tank top guy either.
No, I don't do it. So I have a basketball jersey that I'll wear like when it's like 40, but that's about it.
You probably wear a t-shirt underneath it.
No, no. I haven't.
You gotta hide the guns.
I think I had my profile picture was me at like Lollapalooza one year wearing a Rodman jersey.
Yeah, the ironic old, like half of Lollapalooza that year was like young 21-year-old guys wearing NBA jerseys from 15 years ago.
Yes, that was the move.
Every single person.
Now it's like it's not rock music, it's all like EDM music, so I don't think people do that anymore, but then people did. And Gary commented on my chest hair to everyone on Instagram, but I guess I was putting it out there, so it's fair game.
Yeah, we were. Well, when you get those deep V shirts that you really like, you can see the trail to the treats.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I'll just goes lazy river tarps off. I mean, obviously, if I'm going swimming, I will. I try not to make people look at me without a shirt on too often. But there's a time and place for everything. Maybe that place will be the fourth quarter in the North End tonight. I'm gonna be there. I'll look forward to seeing many of you, all you other D-gens that'll be behind the North End at halftime. I'm sure I'll see many of you there. But we'll be kicking around. I'm going to be with Scott and the gang in 141. And we will be in the Rum Hut vicinity, I'm sure, a few times during the game. And, of course, in the seats. I'm looking forward to it, folks. It should be a lot of fun. Fun show today. Thanks to everyone for hanging out with us. Been a great week. We'll be back at it tomorrow on Monday. Huge thanks to all the sponsors. And, once again, all of our friends at 960 and 650 in Vancouver and Calgary. Thinking about them this week and hoping for brighter things. We are incredibly fortunate to have such a great following here, YouTube, podcast, sponsors that make it all happen. And I know big things will be there for many of you that took a bullet this week thanks to Rogers Communications. See you at the game tonight, folks. Enjoy the World Cup on the weekend. Good luck to the Gold Eyes. Good luck to the Sea Bears on Sunday afternoon. And good luck to the Big Blue tonight. For Michael Remis, Connor Rabchak, I'm Andrew Paterson. Thanks to Ed Tate, Jeff Hamilton, Kyle Steeves, and, of course, the Big Daddy himself, Dustin Nielson, who has the call tonight. Have a great weekend, everybody, and stay cool. We'll see you Monday on Winnipeg Sports Talk.
Oh my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.